Welcome everybody to our Survivor Heroes versus Villains season review. Here we go.
It's crazy. Crazy
Mm-hmm.
to think about that we're here. This was a kind of a whirlwind of a season, honestly. Like there I don't know. It was so entertaining the whole way through that it's like when every episode is a banger, it's like there's no moment of a slog. Like it kind of there was a part when we were talking about it a month or two ago. We're like, yeah, we're like getting up on the finale. Like it was like about a month ago. We're like, yeah, we're getting up on the finale, and it was like, what already? Like it
Mm-hmm.
literally felt like we just kind of started it, but it was so much fun the whole way through that
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this quality of Survivor is is so good. It's like I don't even know how you
How
follow
do you
this
go
up.
back? How do you go back to normal
Yeah,
Survivor?
yeah. Um, if they were going to do something to end the show, this is a perfect way to do it. But of course,
Right.
ratings being what they are, I'm sure the ratings on this were probably pretty solid.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine this was a pretty popular season overall. So, um, but yeah, overall, I mean, it's just like really pretty much no complaints about the whole season. Um, so
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, I had
Yeah.
a wonderful time. You can go back and see all of our reactions to all the episodes. I had a great time pretty much the whole time through, and um, even though I was getting kind of tired of the Russell show, it was still like there was just so much Russell, back to back seasons of nothing but Russell. But
Yeah.
he was a lot more balanced this time around. He had way
Came
more
in
other
way
people
more
to.
level-headed, and he was more respectful
No,
and
no, he
sociable. Oh,
he he wasn't balanced. There was more balance in the edit. That's I
okay.
guess is more. He was
Gotcha.
not more balanced. He was just as unhinged as ever.
Yeah.
So he was.
So if you're just joining us for this video, you can go back on the channel. We have a playlist for hundreds of Survivor videos we've done. So I'm a big Survivor fan. I've seen all the seasons. I've been taking Alec from the beginning, Survivor Borneo, all the way through Heroes versus Villains. So we're gonna talk in depth about the season, give out a couple awards, break things down, take a lot of your questions. But if you want to go back, we have a playlist every episode of Heroes versus Villains. You can watch along with us and watch us discuss each episode individually. Alec not
Right.
knowing what's to come, he doesn't have any spoilers. A lot of people will be like,
Yeah.
I'm watching like a new season and I'm deciding to go back. Now I'm going back to catch up on the ones I didn't see. And so they probably know the results and stuff. This is a fresh experience where we try to keep it as
Yeah.
spoiler free as possible, and to see the evolution of the show season by season.
Right. Yeah, because I know like Survivor 50 is going on right now just because they've there's been ads for it. But one thing that I've appreciated very much about all Survivor advertising is it's always Jeff. It never to me. I've never once since we started doing this have ever seen any of the future contestants
Well,
ever.
that's
If
because
there's
you're
an
not on CBS, luckily, because I definitely see those.
Yeah, I don't watch it's true as I don't watch the TV. I will say so if there's like an ad that shows up in something else,
Hmm.
it's very easy to be like, "Oh, it's Survivor." And so like I have seen like no I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming they're probably doing something special for Survivor season 50 considering
Hmm.
that you informed me about some of the stuff they were doing kind of as a celebration of it. But like I don't know what they're doing for the season. I have nothing, no knowledge whatsoever what they're doing for it. So
Yeah.
I I'm very happy about that. So it's like I'm pretty much as blind as you could be. I'm back in what was 2010 or whatever it is when this is coming out. I'm
Right.
prepping to go to college. I'm prepping to go to college right now. That's 2010 me. So
And it's a
um
unique one because it's almost, yeah, all universal praise for the season. It's not like coming in, we don't know exactly where we stand. It's like we already said, it's like easy best season so far. And I said still to this day, it's a lot of people's favorite season
I
of
get it.
of the 49 seasons that have aired. So
Yeah.
it's like you people have gripes on the outcome. That's the only
Mhm.
thing that really has any sort of gripes with it. But
Right.
even that, most people have come to to like that as well. There are definitely still people who firmly disagree with it, but even them, they'll be like, yeah, it's one of my favorite seasons. I
Right.
haven't encountered anyone who doesn't like Heroes versus Villains, literally anyone. So
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
powerful. And look at this logo. Did you notice all the individual players in the silhouettes
I
too?
did. I see so many of the
You could
individual
see little
players in this.
Russell. You could see Coach for sure.
Yeah.
And you could
I
see
see
Boston Rob's hat, Jerry's hat.
Bob Robinson, Jerry. Yep. I see they have everybody in here. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
There's Colby. Colby's over there too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's great. It's pretty awesome. This is like a we haven't really like ever like delved super deep into the logos. Most of the time they're pretty basic. They just show like a little bit about like themes or whatever, but this one is very very pointed. Return, revenge, redemption. You have actual silhouettes of the cast.
Yeah.
Um, it's great. I mean, it's
I,
great.
I still
It's
think it's
it's an
the
amazing.
only logo that has anything but outwit, outplay, outlast. Which is interesting
That is interesting.
because it's still the name of the game. Outwit, outplay, outlast.
Yeah.
Like you're not.
Right.
You have to return. That's one aspect, I guess. Yeah, you do have
You're
to return
returning.
here, but then it's like some people don't.
Revenge.
It's like Tom doesn't need revenge or redemption. He's
Right.
there though. He's
He's
returning.
a beast. He's
He's
a
he's the
beast.
return part.
Right. Right. So it is a little awkward. I guess it doesn't quite encapsulate everybody's motives, but
But it's epic,
um,
and
it is
that's
it
one
is very
season.
cool.
One thing this season does really well. This no, that's the only thing it does really well. Definitely not any other things. Is it makes it epic. It does a really good job at. You can tell this is a historic season. Even if you haven't, like, this was my second season of Survivor. We watched
Right.
Samoa and then Heroes versus Villains, and you can still feel how epic it is just from the first episode. Everybody
Yeah.
coming in the helicopter and introducing everybody, interacting, and it's just instant iconic moments. I think that's an impressive thing about this season is that there's an iconic moment in every single episode. I
Yeah.
actually was
Definitely.
gonna go through and rattle off iconic moments from every episode, but I just quit at 5 episodes in because there was too many iconic moments. I was like, "Whoa, this is long."
Yeah.
But it's literally, there's some iconic moment. There's some quotable thing in almost every episode,
Right.
that people still look back to. So it's cool. There's a lot of and it's you're benefited from seeing all the seasons leading up to it. It really makes it the payoff
Yeah.
even greater. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, let's see what we got here. All right, we so it's overwhelmingly positive.
Oh yeah.
There's
Big time. Yeah.
there's a certain point in the review where I have literally a slide that says any cons because I want to see if we can come up with things that are not good about the season. But we'll see.
Right.
All right, so here's the DVD cover for Heroes vs.
Okay.
Villains.
Okay.
so,
Interesting.
so Boston Rob snuck his way in there,
He did.
in place
He
of
did. He
Colby.
did.
Yeah, Colby got
But we already
robbed
have
of his
Jerry.
spot.
We already have Jerry there, so
Yeah,
that's
but there would have been a nice symmetry to it if Colby was there. You have Colby, and Jerry, and then you have
yeah.
Sandra and Rupert in the middle, and then
Yeah.
Russell and Parvati as that duo. I think that would be
Yeah.
nice. It's like Boston Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get he's got a strong presence on the,
He does. He does have a pretty
but
pretty strong presence. So
so Colby
this
even
is it.
lost to
Yeah.
this challenge too to get
Yeah.
onto the
Yeah.
DVD cover.
February to May 2010. So this is right in the midst of Alec is getting into Final Fantasy 13. This is like the era I was during my gap year. I was like, man, this honestly was a great time of my like I look back on this time of my life fairly fondly.
Would have been
I
even
like my gap
greater
year. Yeah, it would
with
have been
Heroes
it
vs.
probably
Villains.
I probably would have been confused. I would have been very like, what? If this was my first season, I would have been confused.
For sure.
I'm still impressed that this is your second season. That's
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
So we were
But
just full on the Russell hype train,
yeah,
and that was just like all we
yeah.
knew in this world.
So, there he is Russell. He's in there.
But yeah, pretty standard DVD
Mm,
cover here.
hmm
All right, so then we
Yeah.
have what's up?
I was gonna say I was trying to look to see what moments were being highlighted in the background images here too,
And it's
but
like you can't even see
you
any of
can't really even
that.
tell. Yeah, you can't really tell.
Nothing interesting. All right, let's see. We got the pre-merge here. All right.
Yeah.
So Alec's gonna award the pre-jury gem, which by its wording makes Coach and Courtney ineligible as well. Um, by the way, I did a predictions. I've been doing the last couple seasons a predictions slash preview video before the season where I try to predict what Alec will award and
Mm.
rank a couple things. And I think this is a slam dunk, but
It is a slam dunk for who is the pre-jury gem.
yeah,
I mean, it's got to be Sugar, right?
that's right.
No, it's Rob. It's
Yeah,
Boston Rob. Of course, of course. It's like
yeah.
it's not even a question. It's not
Especially
even a
with
question. I mean,
especially not being pre-merged gem, you don't even have
mm,
Coach or Courtney as options. But I mean,
yeah,
Rob has such a presence in the pre-merge phase.
yeah. Oh, huge. Yeah, he's the dominant force of the game. It's the who's going to come out on top. Is it going to be, especially in the villains tribe? Is it going to be Russell? Is it going to be Rob? You
Yeah,
know,
the
there's the
Russell
whole.
Rob rivalry is fun.
Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah.
And he really just gets boned by Tyson's mistake there, and really just the
Yep.
domino effect of that alliance just
Uh huh.
dooms them. But yeah, standout moments. I mean, to name a few, in the premiere, we talk about how iconic that premiere is. Just seeing everybody
Huge.
there is so cool. Seeing them interact for the first time. Um, you got topless Sugar after Sandra undoes her top. You have Stephanie
Yeah.
dislocating her shoulder.
Oh
Rupert's
yeah, and getting it
toe.
reset.
You get
Well,
Coach dragging
Sugar.
Colby
Oh yeah.
to the finish.
Oh yeah. To the finish. Well, Sugar also gives the finger there too. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, she's like, yeah, it's pretty great. She has her little moment there. It's fun.
Yep, you got
Um,
Tom finding an idol and then banding
right.
together with Colby along with JT to do a 3-2-1 vote against Sari,
Mm.
getting her out early. You have the iconic Tyson blunder where he votes himself out. Essentially, Russell plays the idol on Parvati. You have all of the banana etiquette of it all. You have the
I get it of it all. Yeah. I was gonna say James kind of getting on everybody's nerves, being all passionate out there, and he being like, "Come on now, we got to get back." He's yelling at everyone. It's great.
You
It's
have the
great.
James and Stephanie beef strong.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Boston Rob just 2 episodes in. It's getting the best of me.
Yeah. The amazing, incredible, and I'm so glad they showed it off again. It's just like
This amazing close up of that scrunched face. It's beautiful. It sheds a
yeah,
tear.
it's yeah. I know. I was almost shedding a tear. It was great.
You have the
Oh well,
yeah.
Tyson
I was
Coach,
gonna say that too.
Tyson and
Yeah.
Coach, so good.
Tyson
It's
telling the coach you gotta people mock you. You don't tell your
yeah,
stories. Do your tai chi in private. Don't wear feathers in your hair in tribal. You know, it's great
it
stuff.
kind of it was great because it's preempted by like a lot of compliments, and then all of a sudden it's just kind of like, don't do these things, please. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah,
um,
but again,
yeah,
Tyson and him had this real close bond. Ever since Token
yeah,
Chains, and just imagine if he was there. If he didn't do that mistake, he would have had Coach aligned with Rob more solidly, and it would have been a completely different
yeah.
story from there.
Especially because he was excited to be playing with Rob too. Was pretty cool. He was
Yeah,
super jazzed. But but yeah.
but so many great quotes. There's Tom's uh
Oh yeah, of course.
tonight we make our move, tomorrow we
Tomorrow,
make our apologies.
tomorrow we make our apologies.
Tonight we make our
Tonight we make our
move.
move.
Yes.
One of the coldest lines ever said in Survivor. It was so hard. I've said that line to other people, and they're like, "Wow, that actually goes pretty hard." I was like, "I
Right.
know."
It would have gone a little harder if he made it further after that, for sure. It's unfortunate that he does get taken out right after the next
Yeah,
time.
it's true. It's true.
Because it's like he did this
But
whole
it's still,
dramatic move to it gets Suri out
yeah,
and just basically takes her down with him, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean,
'Cause
yeah.
he's out
Ultimately,
too.
it's not that epic, but it's a very
It's a
cool
good
line.
moment. It's a
Yeah.
good vote. Do you think it's a negative of the season, perhaps, that Suri isn't in there longer?
I mean, yeah, but it's like it's one of those things that's it's sort of hard to predict. It's sort of this is kind of the a little bit of the luck element when it
Right.
comes to playing Survivor, you know.
But do you
So
think if she made
it's
a
like,
deeper run, maybe it would have been better? But, like, I always love more Suri, but I'm also thinking
yeah,
maybe some of our iconic moments she would have stifled them because she's too smart for like the JT Idol thing.
yeah, yeah.
I,
The
I'm
JT
I'm
Idol thing.
thinking like maybe she wouldn't have let that happen
No,
unless
I don't think she would have. Yeah,
unless she would somehow fell in with the Amanda line of thinking, Amanda and Candace, where they're like, well, it gets it out of his hands.
yeah.
But I feel like she would have thought further than that, and so maybe would have missed out on the other moments that came from it. But yeah, Courtney was
Maybe
great.
possible.
Courtney is great, of course.
Yeah, always great. She's always great. She's a yeah. She's something else.
Yeah. Randy's the only one we haven't mentioned. What
Yeah,
about
Randy.
Randy?
Well, Randy didn't have a whole lot to do
Yeah.
this season. He kind of found himself on the outs like immediately, more or less. He just couldn't really just had no one to really bond with out there, and you know
Yeah. That was
he's
it.
just kind of that was it. I mean, he's just sort of an abrasive guy, and yeah, he had like a couple of silly lines, but he didn't really have much to do, which is kind of unfortunate because like Randy, for I'm not like a big Randy stan or anything out here, but like he has his moments where he was pretty entertaining in Gabon, but it's just like it's just sort of like a he
Yeah.
he didn't give much, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for the pre-merge. I mean, there's so much you could go in individually, but
But yeah, big time.
then when Coach went out, that was Sandra's whole move where she went up and told Russell that the Coach wanted him out, and that was fun too. It saved her and Courtney for another vote. I mean that proved to be very important because like if she didn't get that extra vote, they probably both would have been gone back to back. Potentially, there is still logic to voting Coach out there because of the whole narrative they're trying to spin of the All Girls Alliance. So I'm curious if Sandra didn't do that, if they still would have voted for Coach, or if they would have voted for like Courtney, and then suddenly their story doesn't really add up. The All Girls Alliance.
Right, right.
Mm. But then we
But
come to the merge, which was a real epic merge episode where everything comes together. That's where you have the iconic double idol play from Parvati, thanks to JT. We didn't even mention because that was that took place in the pre-merge, the transfer of the idol from JT to Russell, which set up a beautiful merge. Iconic vote out for JT, unfortunately, and which just doomed the heroes from then on.
yeah, yeah, big time doom.
Mm-hmm.
JT clearly trying a different track this time around. It
Mm-hmm.
was kind of funny that it just completely backfired on him in spectacular fashion. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like one of those things where we talked about. It's like if he'd pulled it off, if it was a like a good thing, like if he wasn't being deceived, like if the circumstances were totally different, it would have been awesome. But
No.
of course,
And it's
like one of
tough.
those, yeah, well,
The like if they had seen Russell's season, I mean, this is a completely different season too. You know.
yeah, because Russell's the same character basically that he was before.
He was in a unique position to do the exact same game plan,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But I mean, it's a lot of gold in this. There's still the Sandra trying to get Russell out was a continued arc. Candace ultimately kind of fucking it up for the heroes there. And then Amanda goes out from that, and then they're like, all right, we'll vote Candace out. There was the whole Treasure Island moment with
Amanda
Amanda
and
and Danielle.
Danielle kerfuffle, yeah.
And then
We have,
just the slaughter of Danielle in that tribal council.
yeah, that was brutal. Rupert dressing down Russell, and then Russell just like be like, Rupert, you're such a, what do you call him? You're such a
Rupert, you're a
dumbass or whatever.
dumbass.
Yeah,
You're such a
it's
dumbass,
like,
Rupert.
yeah.
Well, the better quote is, "I don't give a fuck about you or your family."
Oh yeah, it's like, oh my god, that's correct. That's wow.
Russell, the social game king.
Yeah, social king. Yeah, for sure.
We have Rupert. He put the rock in his pocket. That was classic. And
Got a
Russell
rock in
knows
his
that
pocket.
outline anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Russell's like, he's got an idol. I know it.
We have Colby, who like throughout the season is kind of a punching bag, not doing well in the challenges, kind of mopey, kind of halfway gives up early on in the season, but then he does get deliver an iconic confessional, which is really cool with that long pregnant pause.
One of the
Cool.
best. That's one of my favorite confessionals ever. It was so good. And that's the thing. It was like Colby was sort of a little bit of he was a wet blanket this season, somewhat. It was kind of too bad, but he said there were still like occasional moments here and there where he'd come alive again, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, Colby's here, right? Yeah, okay." It just didn't show up in the actual challenges. It's poor guy.
Yep.
Beaten around.
And then Jerry right after him. Look at them side by side. Jerry found herself throughout the season, especially early on, in a lot of pivotal like swing votes.
Yeah.
Torn between Rob and Russell, and ultimately went with the Russell side of things, and that's how it ended up for her, unfortunately. But I liked the coach and Jerry thing we had going on early on.
The pseudo romance.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Yeah.
Wish we got more of that. But then iconic final three. Like I said, Russell going into this thinks all three of them are winners. Like, what about that? But we have two winners and a second place all in the final three. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a wild, because here we have, even in this top one, you have JT's a winner, Amanda's a finalist at least twice before this.
Yep. Danielle's
Candace,
is a finalist.
Danielle's a finalist.
Colby's a finalist.
Colby's a finalist. Yeah, Rupert just is kept out of it.
Yeah.
But close. He was always pretty close to it.
He got fourth, and he won $1 million.
And he won $1 million because he's popular.
That's right.
So
it is a stacked.
Yeah,
it's a stacked cast altogether, but I mean,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
stacked merge group too.
Yeah,
for sure. So Alec, I must ask you who your favorite player of the season is. This is interesting. When I did my prediction, I know I'm wrong on the prediction. I'd have a different one if I were to predict today, but
this is honestly extremely. This is like an almost impossible question for me in this, because it's like,
and of course, any player, even in the pre-merge, are eligible. But
right. Well, that's kind of the difficulty, because it's like even people at the pre-merge were like, somewhat like, they were my favorites in general. Like they're like, we've got Boston Rob. Obviously, he's like one of my favorite players. I can't give him that for the season. As good as he was this season, as commanding as he was especially in the first few episodes on the Villains Tribe, just because he wasn't around for the whole time. It's like he was my favorite player going into it, and I mean he still is my favorite player now, but I can't give that for as representative of the season. I doesn't feel right to necessarily give him that title.
I think I
Um
know. I think I know who your favorite player is. The prediction I made before the season started, I don't
okay.
think is correct. So we'll see.
Interesting. Okay. It's tough. Because I'm kind of caught between two.
What
I'm
two?
caught between I'm caught between Sandra and Parvati.
Okay. Yeah.
Um Sandra is kind of the what I liked about her so much is that like the struggle, and it's like a very similar feeling struggle to Pearl Islands, and she ends up coming out in the exact same situation as
Mm-hmm.
she does there. I love I'll get to Rupert in a second because he wasn't in my consideration. But then we have Parvati, who is uh as sort of like taking on the continued Black Widow Brigade, but this time instead of taking on that more dominantly, she's somehow uh there's that one episode where she's like, people underestimate me, and that pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, she's kind of controlling the whole game here. Um, and like her and Danielle are kind of a big thing. It's like, yeah, Russell's obviously a big part of it too, but Russell's the easy face. He's out there. He thinks he's in control of the game because he is to a degree, but it's really more her. She's kind of really kind of working the whole thing. And like that dominant play is obviously very engaging. It's very interesting. She makes all kinds of revolutionary moves. Um, the obviously the double idol. She just does these little comments to Russell to get him quaking in his boots. And like, I mean, hey, maybe if he hadn't gone ballistic on Danielle, maybe people would have had a different perspective on him. Probably not, because we're very dominated by heroes here, so they're gonna favor people who are at least trying to reach out to them. But Sandra as like the struggle that to always she's always trying something to try to get herself further. She's not able to kind of sit with like Parvati is also doing that too, but like Sandra's having to do it from like a on her back feet
Mm-hmm.
perspective. She's trying to make deals with the heroes. She's trying to make deals with heroes and people on on the villains. She's trying basically everything she can, and it's all falling through. Like every time she tries something, it just like completely falls through. And but that's really engaging, and that's like really entertaining to watch. And the fact that she wins out in the end because she's done the least to piss everyone else off. She's actually tried olive branches more than basically everyone else. Um, is kind of a testament to the games that she played both before and again here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just really torn. And then Rupert, I mean, I still love Rupert. I love him. He's a big teddy bear. He had fun moments. He was never a dominant force like he was in Pearl Islands. Um, but he was still always kind of good for a laugh or two every episode. Um, Good for some moments of consideration. Uh, he heard Sandra out, to a good degree. They had that Pearl Islands connection after all. Yeah, so it's like, it's so tough. Um, and of course, Russell. I mean, I make no bones about the fact that I'm not a big Russell fan, but the guy is like one of the most entertaining people that's ever been on the show. So I can't speak out against that. So,
Yeah.
but I've waffled around long enough. I think if I have to, if I'm put to it, if I am put to it, it's so hard because like especially if you go back and you see my predictions of the final episode, you said that I think the player that I wanted to win is the player that won. But the
Right.
player that I predicted, I thought would win, and the player that I felt was best representative of the season is Parvati. So that's
But
the thing that's
would
like
you not be
I'm so
rooting
torn.
for your favorite in the final three, right?
That's the thing. That's the thing. You'd think that. You'd think that. But yeah, I've done enough waffling. I'm gonna say my favorite player of the season as a whole was Sandra Diaz-Twine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
gonna say,
that's what I was thinking after the season. I was like, wow, okay,
yeah,
he was really liking Sandra, and I actually forgot how
yeah.
good Sandra is in this season
She's
because
yeah, she's pretty great.
she's so under edited in the beginning. And,
Mm.
she's kind of known for being under edited on the season, but then like the last several episodes, she really comes in strong, and she just gives some of the best confessionals. I mean, it's just fun. You know, I love Parvati as a player. I'll take Parvati every time, but yeah, Sandra might be my favorite now too, honestly. But it would probably also be between those two. You know.
Yeah, it was again, yeah, it's very difficult because Parvati's game, she was always like super entertaining. She's got great confessionals too.
Yeah.
Like her delving into her strategy and like what's going on and what she's thinking and talking about. Her and Russell laughing at JT's letter. That's iconic. That's an
Hmm.
iconic moment also. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah, it's Sandra. Yeah, I know. Some people aren't a big fan. I guess we found out through some of the comments in comment corner.
yeah.
Um, but but yeah,
So before the season, I predicted Russell because
interesting.
I had no idea how it was gonna shake up, but I was like, all right, I know you you picked Russell last time, so at least there's some evidence to that. And I was like, I didn't know how you would respond to the ending because some people are very passionate, like Sandra should not have won. Um, but it's interesting. You almost had a complete turnaround on Russell from
It's
like you'll go
it's
back and watch your reaction
yeah.
to Russell losing Samoa, and then watch your reaction to Sandra winning Heroes versus Villains. It's like completely opposite.
Isn't that wild? Well, here's the thing. I think my problem with Russell is that he didn't change his gameplay. He
Yeah,
got so high on his own supply, he thought he could pull the same thing
but
twice in a row.
he
And
didn't
hey,
know any better.
I
He should
know.
have known better and read the room. To be fair, on Samoa, like after that season,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
He should have read the room. Yeah, he should have. Um, but hey, like yeah, Russell was yeah. In Samoa, Russell is just like he's the you love him and you love to hate him. He's both characters in that season. In this one, it's just kind of like you know he has a little the tude got the better of him. He was like too cocky, too sure of himself when it's like he probably should have been second guessing some of the things he was doing more. I mean, to be fair, he did do that a couple of times. There were a couple of times where he was like, was sort of like double thinking things. But like again, sometimes you don't know how much of that is lip service to make drama for what is otherwise a done deal decision.
right. But then he's coming
Uh,
out here and he's like, you see all the flaws of the social game highlighted even more, and he's still got the same
yeah,
attitude. Like they're gonna have no choice but to vote for me to win. I dragged them along in this game, So it's like
yeah,
there's the lack of awareness there is harder to root for, and
yeah,
it's funny because I think there's something to where a lot of people when they're watching Survivor, when they come through these seasons at first as like casual fans,
hmm
they'll be like all in on Russell. Obviously, certain people are just gonna hate Russell and how he presents things in general. But if you're like into like a gamer type and you're watching this without really like breaking it down, you're gonna be like all in on Russell. Like that's how we were when we first watched. We were like all in on Russell the first two
right,
seasons. But I think there's something to when since we're stopping down talking about each episode, like really breaking down the game, that lends itself to actually being able to understand why he lost the first time, and then especially why he lost the second time.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're just watching it casually, you might just be like, well, why didn't Russell win? He ran the whole thing. So
So there's an element of, and this is a thing that again, it's sort of what somebody said. I don't remember if it was during our review last season, but it's just that comment that somebody made that's really stuck with me, where about like it is the fact that like Russell just has zero awareness of the social aspects of the game, and to me um that's sort of like kind of like not like completely changed my perspective on the game as a whole, but it did sort of like reinforce the idea of there's a lot of elements of this, like think of it like poker, right? In a lot of senses, yes, you have to play the hand that you're given in a lot of cases, or you have to do with the hand you're dealt. You have to work with that. But you are playing other people, and you have to understand the other people that you're playing with in order to suss out what you're going to do. You have to have some sort of social awareness, some sort of tact and maneuverability. Are these people going to respect me at the end of the day for pissing them off? Like, there's people that are like, you're an asshole, but I respect the fuck out of you for doing that. Like, there are people, and there are seasons, in fact, where that has played out that way. But you have to kind of like, especially with a hero stacked thing here,
mhm.
and it's not just like paying lip service to the heroes thing. It's like these people all have that kind of characteristic about them in general, and it's like, I mean, Rupert even coming straight to him, being like, "Look, I think you're a despicable human being." Like he just like straight up saying that to him, you know. So it's like you have to keep things like that in mind, and it's like, you know, so there's the social aspect, the understanding the people that you're playing the game with is like the is almost like the meta strategy of the game. Like you have to know the people at least to some sort of degree. Um, Whether it's commanding and controlling them like an android, a la Mr. Freeze, or if you are, or even I guess sort of like Richard Hatch in a way too, or if you're trying to understand how to ally yourself with them and make it so that um that you come out on top in the end, that you're respected by your peers even when you've done manipulative and betraying things to them.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments throughout the season where I couldn't just blatantly say it, but I wanted to say like, okay, so you just made it so 100% they're not going to vote for you. Like they're going to hate you, and after you just did that,
Yeah.
but I can't really just say that because
Yeah.
I know the
Yeah.
results. But it's like he would say stuff or do things where it's like these people just don't like you, Russell. I don't know how you expect like they have to vote for me. Like there's no really,
They don't really have to,
there's
though.
no,
That's the
there's
thing.
no. It's funny because like people didn't like Parvati, but there's nowhere near the vitriol that they had for Russell, and it's just
Yeah.
like there's a certain point. Like we'll read some comments. I'm not sure how much they get into it, but we still have people in the comments saying that Russell should have won, or all these kinds of things where I can't wrap my head around it anymore because you've seen it proven. He's gotten to he's shown that he can play this almost the same exact way 2 times and get the same result. People are not going to vote for him to win if he plays it that way 100 times. They'll never vote for him to win. So it's
You're
like you're
right.
fundamentally misunderstanding the game. And it was embarrassing in the reunion where he literally Jeff's trying to tell him like that's not how the game works, and he's like, no, America should have a percentage of the vote just because America happens to like how he's edited, you
Yeah.
know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because he's and it is because it's extremely entertaining. Like, don't get me wrong. He is just hilarious and fun to watch just because he's kind of nuts. And that's fun. That's what we like Coach is so much too.
Right.
Um and like, yeah, that's 100% why it should not be that way, because it's like we are getting a sanitized, like not completely sanitized, but we're getting a sanitize the wrong word. We're getting a honed down perspective on everything they've gone through in 39 days.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's always had this goofy, cocky, like aura about him from the beginning, but at some point from the beginning of Samoa to the end of Heroes vs. Villains, we just completely don't take him seriously anymore. Like he just becomes like,
right.
all right, he's doing antics, even if he's completely steering the game, is still we're not taking him that seriously. Like there's something to it where he's just not caring about how he interacts with people.
There's a bell curve to the Russell troll bell curve. It's like immediately
Mm-hmm.
you're like he's some troll, and then it's like maybe he's some sort of secret genius by the Gabon or not Gabon by the Samoa. But later on Samoa, and then it kind of comes back down to he's a troll again. It's he's just a goblin that's just screwing things up for
Mm-hmm.
people, and that's the trajectory of Russell Hance, I think.
And Rob
At least
even
from
says
my
it.
perspective.
He even says it. He does. He's a pretty good job at getting to the end, but he doesn't play to win. That's what it
That was
is.
that was harsh and true. That was awesome.
Because
Like that
Russell,
you said that.
but the problem is Russell thinks he's playing to win, but he thinks that somehow like everybody's gonna vote objectively based on who determined the most or like steered the most, and it's
Right.
just not how the game works. Fundamentally, you're just literally misunderstanding the whole concept.
Well, it's great because like Boston Rob of all people also knows firsthand that that's not how you play the game. Like he knows that because he didn't win.
Yeah.
He didn't win in All Stars. He knows exactly the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you're gonna listen to one guy that knows a thing or two about the game, I think it's him. I think it's the guy who lost in pretty much the same fashion.
Yeah, but at least he lost by one vote. You know.
It's true. It's true. It's
Russell only got a couple votes in Samoa, and then he got none
yeah,
here.
nothing. Yeah.
So, and it's interesting.
Yep.
Is like even if you're steering the ship, it almost becomes a thing where it's like, okay, well, we're incentivized to take him in the end. Like even if he's the
Right.
biggest asshole, we're not incentivized to take him out because he can sit there at the end and get 0 votes. But
Right.
even with
I
that
like
element, Sandra still wanted to get him out like desperately. He
right.
was just that
That
unpleasant.
that well, and I think what was also kind of telling is that Sandra and Parvati, who had not really been allied the entire time in the last episode, were like they don't know what's about to hit him. Like they knew that he was going to get laid into by literally everybody there.
Yeah, and you can see
That
even in that whole "I'm against you, Russell" and all that, like
yeah,
her and Parvati are just laying back, like
yeah,
laughing at how unserious he is, and people are constantly making comments about, "Man, this guy's crazy." Danielle, like, this guy's a psycho. Rupert is
yeah,
like, he's a despicable human being.
yeah.
hmm
Colby's like I can't trust him at all. Yeah, he just like yeah. Pretty much everybody there has said something negative except for Candace is like
JT said he's a stand-up guy. He's a good old country boy.
he's the good
That's
old country
right.
boy. Yeah, he got the wool pulled over his eyes. That's what we know. That's what happened there. And Candace is like, well, we just got to go along with him. He's horrible, but we got to just listen. We just
It
got to
just
go
kept
along with
working, like you got Jerry consistently to vote his
it.
way.
Yeah, yeah,
It's funny because Jerry is the one actually who leaves the game saying that I'm probably gonna vote for Russell.
right.
And so I guess when she went back to the rest of the people and they said how much they hate him and everything, she's like, all right, maybe I won't vote for Russell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right. Maybe you got a point there, actually.
yeah. Even if she
Yeah,
wanted to, at that point, it's like, all right, well, if I want my vote to matter at all, I gotta vote between Parvati and
right.
Sandra. So,
Yeah.
well, there you go. That's
All right.
the merge. I mean, there's so
There's
much,
so much.
but
There's honestly
Sandra's
we can
favorite
talk about
player.
it.
That's
Yeah,
great. That's great.
yeah. Love Sandra. She was great.
All right, so the
Really
last
was.
couple of Survivor superlatives. First off, cutie of the season. All right, absolute stacked competition.
It is very stacked because we have some of my all-time favorite cuties. Because I like Amanda, Parvati,
Mm,
uh, I really like Courtney a lot too. Um, you know, Stephanie's cute as well. Danielle's also kind of a babe.
That would be an interesting stat actually to check. I feel like there's multiple Cutie of the Season winners in
Sh-
this cast.
Sugar was definitely cutie of the
Shuggy was a
season.
Cutie of the Season. I think Stephanie probably was a Cutie of the Season
Yeah,
in Guatemala at least.
Guatemala. Yeah.
It was between
This is
Courtney and Amanda in China.
yeah.
You know, um,
I think I think I am going. I think I'm gonna give it to Courtney. Yeah.
whoa, from downtown.
Yeah, I'm giving it to Courtney. Yeah. Hey,
What
don't
an
get me
arc
wrong.
for Courtney, huh?
Yeah, I know. I think I kind of didn't really like her at the beginning of
Yeah,
China, and then she's like, yeah,
yeah,
totally 180 on her. She's great. I love her.
perfect, perfect. All right, so then the last superlative I think is the MVP, which has been tabulated all season long. Essentially, every episode, Alec gets to award an MVP. For whatever reason, it's not like the best player; it's just whoever
Yeah.
stands out the most, or whatever reason. And the winner of the MVP of the season is Sandra Diaz Twine. All right.
Oh, all right.
And it's a vote of 4 to 2 to 2 to 2 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1.
That's maybe the biggest spread we've
That's
ever
pretty
had.
impressive. That's a lot of
Yeah.
different MVPs. Sandra with
Yeah.
4, and then Rob, JT, and Russell all with 2. Russell only got the 2 through the reunion, by the way. Otherwise, he would have just been 1, which is pretty crazy. And then we got Sugar, Coach, Tom, Parvati, and Rupert each got 1. How about that? But
Yeah.
Sandra had
No,
a strong
everybody had a
second half for sure.
huge standout cast though, because of I was giving it to
Yeah.
tons different people all towards the beginning. So it's like it just speaks to how good of a season it is. I think the
Yeah,
fact that
so
we
if you
kind of spread
look at
out.
in order, MVPs Sugar, Rob, Coach, Tom, JT, Russell. And so the first 6 are all unique. And then
Yeah.
it's Rob again, Sandra, JT, Parvati, Sandra, Rupert, Sandra, Russell. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing with MVPs, too. You are benefited from being in the season longer, obviously. But,
Right. Naturally.
all right. That's it for Survivor Superlatives. All right.
Very cool.
So next up, here's the confessional counter, which we've been referring to. Again, you want to look
Yeah.
at the sum. The biggest thing here, don't even look at the top. Go down to Courtney. How's that number?
Courtney only had 4
4.
the whole
4
season.
the whole season, yeah.
It's interesting. Most of her entertainment came from side glances, goofy
She got little
things
comments in
that
there, yeah.
tribal council. She did not get. That's so true.
Less
Why is that?
less confessionals than Stephanie and Randy and Dyson. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild.
It's crazy. But then we go to the top.
I'm got 17. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. You get it.
So the most is Russell still 68.
Yeah.
And then a drop down to Parvati with 40. And then it's Rupert with 38. Coach with 32.
Coach had a lot. Yeah, they were they wanted to milk as much out of Coach as possible here. Yeah.
JT with 28, and then finally we get to Sandra with 27. But
that's kind of crazy too. But
and look at this. Look at Sandra's number for the different episodes. Episode 1, 3. Episode 2, 0. Episode 3, 0. Episode 4, 0. 5, 0. 6, 0. 7, 0. And then episode 8, she starts getting some confessionals a little bit.
Very, like you said, under-edited for sure.
Big streak of no confessionals.
Russell in the first episode had 8. But so did Rupert. So they were spreading the love quite a lot here.
They were. Coach had the most, yeah.
Coach had 11. Coach had 11. Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely much more balanced.
A lot more balanced.
They still knew they had gold with Russell, so they were still giving a lot to Russell for sure. But yeah, then the Courtney's egregious, She barely
Danielle
ekes
only has
out
8.
sugar.
Danielle only has 8, which is interesting too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, you look at the next highest
Yeah,
placement, it's like they're way bigger.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very understated for sure. I know there was
Mm.
we have the commenter, I think it was you know who said about the word count being more accurate. I know he made a comment with a couple of them. He doesn't have the full, didn't give the full list, but yeah, it's interesting. We'll get to that with the comments too.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a fun thing because you can dump all that stuff into. I mean, you just have AI do that to you now because they can dump the closed captioning basically into something like that. But yeah, but I'm sure a lot of this stuff was already counted even before the advent of a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
that. But
All right. So this is where I ask any cons. Aside from what we just said, maybe under
yeah,
editing a couple individuals, Courtney namely. Is there anything that stands out as major cons? Usually, I would say pros and cons of the season, but pretty much all
yeah.
pros.
So I think kind of towards the end, I wish they had continued to like shout out what season some of the games were from.
Yeah.
That's such a I know that's such a that seems
Well,
like
you
it's
know
such a minor
why?
thing, but
You know why?
it's
Because
because
in the beginning he was saying these people competed in it.
yeah, because they
Yeah.
were highlighting because I think most if not all of the challenges and games they played were from seasons they were all
Yeah, I
everybody
think they
there was
all
from.
were, and then
Yeah,
it just happened to be the later ones were all none of the people were there from the previous
yeah.
season.
It would have been nice just to even if it was just like a little
Yeah,
editing
just
note to be like,
he
it's
should
from
have still
this or something.
shouted out. It would be cool
Yeah, yeah.
because that I'm not very good with challenge history. I'm constantly
Was
mixing
there
up where it's from.
was there was there no Survivor auction this time around? I don't think there was.
Um,
I don't think there was this season. They had the reunion, they had the family visiting, but I don't think they had the auction where they bought food. They
very
tempted them
true.
with food in several challenges. Be like, hey, if you get down off the pole, you can come down and eat this cheeseburger or whatever. They had those, but I don't think they had the pay money and get food. No cookie gate.
Yeah, there's no auction. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which I thought was
Okay.
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, there could have been some
Um,
drama there.
It could have been. It's not really a con. It's just that's more of an observation, I
Right.
think.
We're really looking for something.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like it's hard to even complain. Yeah, like maybe there's a couple members of the cast you could have switched out, but
Yeah, I think that would be
even
maybe it.
then, like
Maybe like
most everybody delivered except for like we didn't really get anything from Randy, like we said.
yeah, yeah. Randy would have maybe swapped out
Switch out
Randy for
Randy for
another.
Shane from Panama.
Oh, that would Chaos
Because
Aya
like you put Shane in
Shane.
there, there's not gonna be nothing happening. He's gonna
Yeah,
at the very least give chaos for one episode that he's there.
Shane going nuts or Johnny Fairplay. I mean, I guess he got
Johnny
Johnny
Fairplay too.
Fairplay already. He got his little stint, his one episode in
But yeah,
Micronesia,
that
but
is an interesting thing. Like some of the most
yeah,
iconic villains, Johnny Fairplay, Richard Hatch, they're not
yeah.
there. So that's an interesting thing too. Because
Is
even
Richard Hatch is Richard Hatch being undergoing his is he being sued at this point? I don't remember the details about that, but
um, it
I mean, we've talked
was
about that before, but
yeah, yeah, it was at this point I believe that was
yeah,
happening. They wouldn't let him go. But
yeah,
it is interesting that they when they did that hype trailer at the end of Samoa, they had Johnny Fairplay moment and Richard
yeah.
Hatch moment.
Yep.
But yeah, we're really grasping at straws here.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy. That is actually kind of crazy to think about because there's generally pros and cons to most seasons. I think I would say,
yeah, there's
but
no. Are there any egregious twists? Usually, that's something that we'll point to. I don't think there really was.
oh, maybe one con. Maybe one con. It was very focused because it was very focused on the game and the strategy and the gameplay. There wasn't a whole lot of like not a
Hmm.
lot of like cultural
Yeah,
stuff.
this
So
is
that's maybe
hardcore
a
gaming.
small weakness.
Yeah.
That's kind of because that's one thing that I kind of like. I like getting being able to sort of see a perspective of, you know, somebody that's
Yep.
completely different, lives in a completely different world than we do. You know, it's kind of one of those grounding moments
The
type things, and some of those
location,
are,
you know, I believe it's
yeah,
Samoa again. So there's not
yeah,
really anything highlighted about the location. That's literally, it's like an afterthought. So that's the
yeah,
thing too. Yeah.
right,
But yeah, I mean, it's literally the case of like we have such a good cast, we just let them cook, and that was
yeah,
it. That's the best when you can have the hands
yeah,
off approach. We're not doing some BS, throwing in some BS twists in there.
yeah.
It's really
Huge
good.
twist to change the game around. Yeah, there wasn't really
Yeah.
a lot of that.
So and like we had so many iconic moments and iconic moves that were all just done by the creativity of the players, which is what you like to see.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Season rating. All right. I was thinking, shouldn't we rate it out of 10 at the end of the day?
Hmm.
Now that we've been rating it all season long, I'm gonna give you the average that we of all the episodes, but I also think we should just rate it out of 10, and it's a
Yeah,
10, right?
it's a 10. Yeah, it's a
10
10.
out of
10
10.
season. Yeah. W, big W's in
W.
chat
But
for this season.
I wanted to rattle off the ratings. I calculated through all 15 episodes. They're all based on our average. You know, I didn't parse out our individual scores. So each episode we had that score that was the average of our two.
Hmm.
And out of all of them, the average score out of 10 is 9.22. Wow.
That's insane. That's crazy.
So
Yeah,
episode 1, 10. Then
yeah.
it's 8.25, 8.5, 10, 8.25, 9.75, 9.25, 9, 10, 10, 8.75, 9, 8.75, 10, 8.75. That's
That's
crazy.
very, that's kind of
It's
wild. Yeah.
multiple tens. Like,
Yeah.
there's 5 tens. I think most seasons you'd be lucky to get even 1 10, let
It's
alone like
true.
this
Yeah.
many nines, you know?
Yeah. It's true. There's episodes, this is like, that's like an 8 or like, yeah, some was like, yeah, 7.5, you know, it was kind of a rote thing or, you know, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we
It
got
was,
none of the
yeah,
7 out of 10, 6 out of 10
either.
lower.
Yeah. Yeah. Which you usually expect from like a pre-merge or like a, you know, winding down
Yeah.
episode, but like none of that. Yeah.
I think because like the season's perfectly paced too, to where
Mm.
we had extended the jury, but also we didn't do any tribe swaps either, which actually just
Right.
worked perfectly for the nature of the season. Like it just played out perfectly to where like the dynamics got really interesting in both tribes. It ended up perfectly even going to the merge, exactly what you want. And then we
Yeah.
didn't spend too much time with less people. Like there was only a few episodes post merge, so it was really getting it going in a satisfying way. So where there wasn't just like any point where it's dragging. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, wow, 10 out of 10
Great
season.
stuff. Big time. Yeah.
None of the other seasons I would have given a 10 out of 10. I mean,
Yeah.
Micronesia even would have been probably a 9.
Yeah. It's
You
probably what
know,
I'd say
Pearl
too. It's
Island's a
9.
9.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
China's like 8.5 to 9 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon 8.5. Um, yeah, this is that just so good, you know. Like, what else can you
But
say?
we'll
It's
see
just
where
so
it goes
good.
from here now. Like, no, we're
I know.
so spoiled with the season.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Give us some
that's kind of me. Like, how do
6s.
you
Give us some
follow that?
5s. Come on.
Where are they again? Are they like not Honduras? Where are they?
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. That's right.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to
So
see.
yeah.
All right. Questions and comments we will be now be taking. I'm going to go through them.
I'm
Good
sure there's a
amount of
lot. I'm sure there's
comments.
plenty.
Yeah. First comment is from Rogue Merc.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "There's so much to say, but I will bring up one facet that doesn't get discussed more. Is it really being robbed to get 2 of 18 votes between both a rookie and a veteran jury? I was fully on board the Hans train when it came out, but can look back at it and see that while the voting was more anti-Russell / Parv than pro Sandra, Sandra did an excellent job weaponizing the hero's regrets. She was priming them over several tribal council meetings, and Russell was too blind, and Parv knew but didn't have the power over Russell.
Right.
Also, just funny delusion by Russell, besides the America Gets a Vote being terrible by the fact that it would basically be the editing team getting said vote, he would have lost 7-3 and 6-3-1 both times.
Yep.
Do you think? I wonder why he thinks that. Oh yeah. If America well, he didn't say America gets a vote, right? He said America gets a percentage of the vote, didn't he?
He says something like that.
Because if they get a vote, it wouldn't have impacted anything. But
right. Get a percent, but what is a percent? How do
yeah,
you
what's the
even calculate
percentage?
that,
Even if it's half of the vote, I don't think it would have been enough to.
Yeah, not really.
Maybe in Samoa, but
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of what I was saying early on. Is like you really do see going back and really looking episode by episode. You really see why.
Yeah.
Why Sandra won, why Russell especially lost, and even Parvati lost. At Boussie, Boussie, it's the first comment I've seen from them, I believe.
Cool.
Boussie replied to that comment and said, I agree with Sandra doing an excellent job. She literally warned the heroes, and the only person that believed her was Rupert. I do believe Parvati plays the best losing game of any finalist this season, but it annoys me when people say she was robbed because Sandra still played an amazing game despite all her allies getting axed.
Yeah, I would say so.
And then Rogue Merc replied, if you mean game to include social game, yeah, Parv was better for not flaming everyone on the way out. What if the jury were emotionless robots like a lot of people want? In that case, I would say Russell's game was much stronger.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. And that's the thing, yeah, you do have to take, like, yeah, people aren't just automatons. Like, you don't, like, they're not, even Lieutenant Commander Data on Star Trek, like, he would take into consideration, well, you were betraying, like, even though he's not doesn't have emotions, he would probably still take into account, well, you were betraying people, and these other, the people that I'm on the jury with don't like you very much. That tells me that you're not a trustworthy person. I can see that you're not a trustworthy person, but analyzing it, can respect game, but he probably wouldn't even vote for him,
And
so
even
it's like,
so, yeah, the whole dynamic of the game is that why it's so interesting is that the jury is formed from the players that are voted out. What Russell is thinking is like we need to have, or he's imagining it like it's some objective third party jury who has to vote strictly on gameplay, and I still think they would probably not vote for him to win.
The scientific poll. Remember the scientific poll?
Yep.
What's his name? He loves those.
Yeah.
Those little scientific polls. I can't remember that guy's name.
Brian Gumble or
Ryan Gumble. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like 80% of people think Kelly should have won over Richard or something like that.
Yeah.
But
it's like, oh, okay.
I'm saying even if there was an objective third-party jury that just like watches everything and votes accordingly, I still think they don't vote for Russell. I just don't.
Yeah,
because he's actually pretty embarrassing in some of those tribal councils, like the way he talks. The way he talks about himself, like he's the main character and everything, and he constantly did that on the island too. Where he's like,
yeah, it is pretty embarrassing. He said some horrible things to people. I don't know.
And he was just so bad along the way. Like even when he was talking about Sandra, he was just like
disregarding her entirely as a threat, basically.
And he openly says, "I want to take her in because she's easy for the vote." And then he's like, "Sandra's just there," He says stuff like that about a few different people too, in different ways. And he's like, "Oh, that clearly won't matter, right? No repercussions." Right. At Penny _ Q comments, please show him the unaired Courtney Yates confessionals. They are gold. Right.
Oh.
So I have a little surprise for you. We are going to watch the unaired confessionals at the end of this slideshow here.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah,
oh, that's
there's
great.
gold in there. So it's kind of crazy that it's left on the cutting room floor. But yeah,
unfortunate.
I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I'll throw that in here. And so that'll be.
Yay! Good, good. I get to see my cutie of the season a little bit more. That's
We
I get to
do.
see my sweet survivor babe. I get to see more of her.
We'll do that at
Say it
the
like a creep.
end, but also I'll probably link it separately. So probably
Yeah,
if you
so
want
people
to
could.
come back, you can
Yeah,
probably go watch it now. That's in the description.
yeah.
Random Rex 6 comments with 2 go arounds under his belt. Let's ask the real question: is Russell good at Survivor or fundamentally flawed as a player?
I think it's the latter. You can say that. I think you can still be skilled at Survivor, but have that fundamental flaw. And
He's like
I think those are
supremely
both
skilled.
true.
He's like in the top
Yeah.
1% of players in certain aspects of
The man is
Survivor.
a metagamer. Like he's like, I know that there like before even being told that there's a hidden idol, he's like,
Yeah.
there's a hidden idol. And he finds it.
Yeah, he
It's
found the
like
idol spot, the clue.
who?
He's
Who?
constantly creative with his strategic gameplay all the time. You
Yeah.
know, in both
Yeah,
these
because
2 seasons, we've seen him do so many different things and
yeah.
real ballsy about it. So it's hard to say that he's. It's easy to say he's fundamentally flawed as a player. It's hard to say that he's good at Survivor. You
Yeah.
know, you are good to the extent that you were like, you literally got second place and you got a couple votes. So it's not like he had he did that in Samoa. So it's not like
Right.
he was nowhere close. He was right there. And then he makes it to the end again. So there's a certain skill to that. And certainly he's had the biggest impact on both seasons he was on.
Yeah. Right.
But he's fundamentally flawed as a player for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You know, he's completely disregarding one whole aspect of the game that is perhaps the most important.
Right. Soft skills are hard. Soft skills are some of the hardest skills to master because if you don't have them naturally, you kind of have to learn them. That's the
Mm-hmm.
whole thing about masking in it, in the whole in the autism community. It's like you essentially have to like learn a skill that you just don't naturally have. So it's like it's not everybody has that. Some people have to like work on that to figure that
Yeah.
sort of stuff out. So it's like yeah, it's hard because it's also hard because it's nebulous in a lot of ways because everyone's different, and if you have to treat people like individually differently,
Mm-hmm.
so that makes it even harder, for somebody that doesn't naturally have that. So it's like yeah, um,
And I
I
always,
don't know.
as I've been saying for a while, I do give him grace, and that is in a very unique position to where he doesn't know he lost the first game. Then no
Hmm.
one sees him the second time. And he's had no time to reflect. There's so many factors working against him actually improving
Right.
on that aspect. Um, but I think to most people, it's probably common sense. Like to
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
dick, you're not gonna get someone's vote.
Yeah. Right.
But I
Yeah.
do give him that grace too, where it's crazy the 2 week turnaround. And
That is
like I
wild.
said, they should have told him that he lost. I think like it's not fair to have
Yeah.
him. It's like you put this toddler in there, knowing like thinking one thing, and reality is completely different. It's sick. It's sick what they
Yeah.
did.
Though it is hard to. I mean, it's obviously it's impossible. You can't possibly know that, but I am curious as if it would have drastically altered his gameplay. Theoretically, I mean, in theory, it would have,
Yeah,
but we saw how he acted in the finale of the second time
that
around.
that's the that's again that's the most
Yeah, that's very embarrassing.
most
I think yeah,
that's the biggest indictment to his game is for sure is like after he's seen both seasons played out in their entirety, he comes on and says, "No, the problem is the game. It's not me. You need to change the game to work around me." Okay,
yeah.
all right. So that's what we would have gotten if he had time to reflect. I don't know what he would have done then with that
The
information.
audacity, the actual audacity of this man to say that. It's crazy.
If Tyson doesn't screw up and Russell goes in that spot, how might that affect the way production edits Samoa? So people theorize that they edited Samoa really to prop up Russell, knowing he would have this deep run in Heroes versus Villains. So they really needed people to root for
That
him.
interesting theory.
So it's like if he's going to go out early in Heroes versus Villains, does that change how they edit Samoa? But my thing is, we don't really have any evidence to the contrary. Like everything we see of the other people in Samoa is just like they're absolute duds most of the time. Like not giving
It's
the entertainment. So why would you?
it's true.
They would still want to go all in on that. I feel like.
Yeah, I still feel like you have to. I still, because like, sure, it is under everyone else is under edited, and maybe that is to prop Russell up, but it's like, how can there's a certain trap you would probably fall into as an editor, which is, how can we not use this?
Yeah,
This is gold. Everyone else is like, maybe somebody has like some moments here and there, but it's like like Russell is just giving it like in every episode. Every time we go to him, he always has a line. There's always something entertaining we can use and go to and draw from. And especially with the full context of that season, we we can just go for it. Like absolutely. How do we, even if he lost in the Heroes versus Villains, like really early on, still feel like you have to build him up in that season because he is the critical part of that
yeah.
season. So
But again, that just reminds me again of Heroes versus Villains. How much changes at so many different crucial points. Like you go that early on, and if Tyson votes the way he's supposed to, Russell just idles himself out instead.
yeah,
He used idle on Parvati. He goes. The complete trajectory of the game has changed. So many
yeah,
iconic moments are hinge on Russell being there. So we
yeah,
have a completely different season.
yeah. It's Rob. It's probably another Boston Rob dominated season would be my guess.
You would think so.
Yeah,
You would think so,
yeah,
but again, it's all just theorizing at that point.
yeah.
He also asked, does a former winner's return performance affect the reading of their prior win? Though that may be a discussion for winner ranking. Well,
Yeah, I think we can maybe.
yeah, I mean, well, when we do the ranking, we'll do it based on the specific
This season.
season.
Yeah,
But I guess if you look at the other winners, like that's an important thing to look at, or that's a good question to ask about the other winners. Like, does Tom's performance, does JT's
but yeah,
performance, does that affect how you view their previous game? And then does Parvati and Sandra, how does their performance affect? Like, does that affect
yeah,
your view of it?
yeah. It's kind of hard to say because, well, especially because you do have to take in. I mean, I do have to take in consideration the luck aspect of the game. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say like no, but with like an asterisk uh, uh on it. Basically, like there's a point at which like if you perform, because like, so JT for example, I think maybe is maybe the biggest like
Right.
uh alteration. But the thing is like, he went into this game like with the intent that like, I'm going to try to play this guy. These people are people that have played the game before like me. I gotta change it up. I gotta shake up how I play this game. So he already went in with an expectation like, if I do it this way, I might be able to
Yeah.
make this work. So it's like, I have to like, I can't not give him credit for that, even though it backfired, even though he misread the Russell thing. It was sort of a foregone conclusion. He wasn't the only person making the assumption that it was a girls' alliance. Rupert openly was like, "Well, I guess we got an all girls alliance over there." Like, like all of the guys on the Heroes tribe was assuming that was the case.
Right.
And yeah, so it's like, there's a point at which it's like it does, but it's so, I think you can kind of separate it out, like the Richard Hatch of All Stars.
Right.
uh
Right.
does not, to me, which that's horrible, a terrible display, uh
It was
is
not,
literally a terrible display. We did not need to see that. The
yeah.
doesn't
but his
really, to me,
performance, yeah,
yeah,
as someone
doesn't really
going
affect.
in like with running like dead in the water, essentially. That's why
Yeah,
like I rarely take that like have that
yeah,
affect the actual win because there's too much meta involved. If we had,
there
like I
is.
said, the theoretical world where you could just drop them in a simulation where no one knows who they are and just let them play again and again, that would be
Right.
something you could judge. But otherwise, it's like there's so many other factors. It's like now, okay, you're one of select winners. In All Stars, they were dead like immediately. Everybody wanted the winners out, and then in this one, Tom, I always say he was only there for a few episodes, but I actually was pretty impressed with what we saw from Tom,
Yeah,
all things considered.
he stuck in it when he was like dead in the water basically, but he stuck in there way longer than you would
And
have
he's
imagined
scrappy
that
when
he
he
would.
never had to be in Palau.
Yeah,
And then JT is someone who made supposedly one of the worst moves in Survivor history. I don't.
yeah,
I still think he's got one of the most impressive wins we've seen
yeah.
in the first
That
season
win is
because you
pretty amazing.
can't
Yeah,
deny it's different when you're coming back as a winner. First of all, like you said, you got to play differently to even have a chance. So like doing the smarter
100%.
option might not have a long term gain for a winner,
Right.
or you might have to just swing for the fences. And also, there's this completely different mentality. You're playing with house money, to where like you don't really have as much to lose. So you might play a little looser than you would if you were doing a theoretical the first time again.
I think he even said something like that once in one of the confessionals. I might be misremembering, but I feel like he even said something to that degree, like I
Mm.
already won once, so it's like, something like that. Maybe it was in the exit confessional. I don't remember, but yeah. Well, and it's interesting that we say this because like Sandra, I think because I was saying earlier, Sandra's game is very similar
Right.
in how she played in Pearl Islands to here, but she never had to be as like I don't think she ever had to be like quite as like scrambling to try to stay alive. At least not from recollection. Um and making alliances that all fell through. I don't remember that aspect of her gameplay, but she was sneaky and she was sneaky again here. I love the like sneak around and like listening in. She did that both seasons. I thought that was just
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, that's the thing. I
Um
think no, returning after a win, like
mhm,
you can enhance your legacy, but you can't take away
yeah.
from it. I don't think. I don't think it's fair
I
to,
yeah, yeah.
because I
I
think
don't
both
yeah, I'd
Parvati and
agree with that.
Sandra clearly um,
Added to the
added to
legacy,
it.
I think. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And not that like again, does it necessarily the wording, does it affect the reading of their prior win? Maybe not necessarily, but as a player overall, it like increases your opinion of them. I think. Whereas like Sandra, the first time she played and won, it's like okay, that was an enjoyable um win, but it was okay.
Yeah, right.
And
I
then in
think
a
yeah.
vacuum, you could say the same about heroes versus villains. But then the fact that both were back to back both times she played, then that certainly changes
Yeah,
things,
right.
you know. But yeah, I don't hold it against people because otherwise, like, no one's gonna want to come back. Like, winners have everything to lose coming back if it's just gonna be like, all right, well, you suck now because you got like Tina, you won, and then you got your first one
Forced
voted
out.
out because you were a winner, so you suck now.
Yeah. It's like that's not really yeah, not quite how it works. Or like Stephanie. Stephanie as well. Like Stephanie's second out this time around.
Hmm.
Or Sugar first out. She was runner up. And so
Yeah,
it's like but like that to me doesn't that's like yeah, it's the nature of the game. There's gonna be these are all great players by its very nature that someone's gotta go out
yeah,
early. It's just yeah.
yeah. Parvati, yeah, and again, yeah, even Sugar, outside of the game factors, have a lot of effect on these returning player seasons. So it's like I don't even hold that against her,
Right.
um,
Exactly.
because there's just so many weird factors with it, and you like
Yeah.
some people know each other beforehand and all that. So yeah, and Parvati's kind of built every time she's played. She played Cook Islands and had
Right.
like no reputation, and then suddenly
Right.
completely elevated
She's
her
kind of,
reputation in Micronesia, and then even more cemented it here. So,
yeah, it's like the hottie to the femme fatale to the legend basically now. It's kind of what she's, even though she didn't win, it's really just added to the overall
hmm.
performance, yeah.
Some fun facts. A couple of them we touched on. He also said Courtney also sets another record this season with the most career challenge sit-outs. Sandra right behind her, followed by a few members of Karor. Interesting.
Hmm.
So the most sit-outs across a Survivor career, essentially. Sandra right behind her, and then Karor because that was on Palau,
Yep.
where Oolong was getting decimated, so they had to sit out like 6 people sometimes of challenges. So there's a lot of
Right.
overlap there.
Yeah.
Um,
Coror in general.
Everyone and their mother claims to have been considered for this season. The two most agree are real are Natalie Bolton, female villain alternate, and Shane Powers, male villain swapped last minute for Russell. Yeah. Um. So Natalie Bolton, I remember she actually there's like photos of her. Like she literally they did her cast
Oh,
photos and everything. Like she was that was that real, but she was just an alternate for the villains, which is interesting because there's so much of the
yeah.
Black Widow Brigade in here too.
Right. Yeah, that would have been the
And then
multiple
Shane
members of it.
Powers
Yeah.
is well known that essentially Russell got his spot, when they realized how good he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. Which is, that would have been a completely different season if it was Shane. Totally different season.
Mm-hmm.
Still would
Yeah.
have been entertaining though, probably. Like
Yeah.
that man is a weirdo. So you love to see it.
This next one, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but this is probably the biggest thing when we looked at the cast, like who's on heroes, who's on villains. Apparently,
Hmm.
Candace and Parvati were supposed to be swapped. In the beginning, they were on opposite tribes. Candace
Oh,
was on
interesting.
villains, Parvati
Okay.
was on heroes, but supposedly they did a swap because there's too many. They realized there's too many of the Black Widow Brigade on the heroes because it would have been Amanda, Sari, and
Hmm.
Parvati plus James there too. Like would have been a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
So I think it was literally I've heard it's literally last minute they switched
Yeah.
them, and so that even adds more to the fact when the first episode where she's like Parvati, you don't think you're a villain? It's like yeah, it literally just wasn't a second ago. But also it
Yeah.
makes sense that Candace made more
Would have
sense
been
as a
just
villain, if anything.
the betrayer. Yeah.
Parvati
The
doesn't make any sense as a hero, but sure.
yeah.
Like,
That's actually kind of true too. Yeah.
okay, so you know who said in you know who in just 2 seasons, Russell Hantz managed to rack up a word count of around 26,725, making him by far the yappiest Survivor player at this point in the show. Not even close to the second place of 3-time player Boston Rob at 19,725, and the third place of 3-time player Stephanie LaGrossa at 19,407. If you're tired of hearing him talking by the end of the season, that may be the reason.
Yep. That's probably the reason. That's funny.
All right. The Goo Man 67 comments for Alec. Is there anyone that you expect to return for future seasons based on your view of this season? Keeping in mind there's entire 15 years left of seasons.
It's true. I mean, I have to assume that there's more people coming back
I was
at some
thinking
point.
that might be a fun bonus video to do too. It's just like who all would you want to come back out of all the seasons if you were to? But who
Right.
who comes to mind? First of all, like, is there anyone from this season you would want to see play again? And if there's any specifics, and if there's anyone that comes to mind from seasons before that would be top billing for you.
Oh, hey, give Shane his day in the sun, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would love to see I'd love to see Todd showing up again. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see uh let's see. I'm trying to think. Um I mean, bring Rupert back again. I don't know. Like, um, the Boston Rob. I'm never gonna complain if he shows up again
Okay.
ever.
Yeah.
Uh, but here's another one. Rob's sister Nino.
Mm-hmm.
Bring my guy back.
Yeah.
Damn it! Bring him back. I That'd be great. I would have. It would have been fun to have him around here too. But that would be fun. I'd like to see him back again. I'm trying to think. Uh, Honestly, Parvati, she's been on 3 seasons, but some of these people are like, it's kind of tough to, you kind of just want to keep seeing them, keep them come back
Yeah.
and entertain us. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think if there's any other like huge standouts. I mean, JT and Steven would be interesting. I don't know how you would ever be able to manage this, but it would be like a somehow build the tribes out of iconic pairs
Mm-hmm. Like
of
kind of
people.
duos.
So it's like
Yeah.
the buddies, yeah. So you have your coach and Tyson. You have uh uh JT and Steven. You've got
Who else?
uh oh there's some iconic duos from earlier seasons I just cannot remember.
Rob and Amber.
Rob and Amber. Yeah, there you go. That'd be funny. Especially now that they're married. It would be
Mm-hmm.
really funny. Um,
What you got? Tom and Ian.
Tom and Ian, yes. Uh,
Stephanie and Rafe.
Stephanie and Rafe. You could just have all kinds of Shane, and uh,
Danielle.
Danielle. Yeah, Shane and Danielle.
Mhm.
The Joker and Harley Quinn.
Mhm.
That's basically what the um
Earl and Yowman.
yeah, Earl and Yowman.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You can have all kinds of interesting Parvati and Amanda or
Yeah, I was gonna say you could do Party
yeah,
Amanda, Todd and Amanda,
Sari.
Todd, Courtney Amanda, one of
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah, one of those, yeah. Um yeah, I don't know. It would be kind of I just sort of just like had that
Sugar
as an
and
idea. It would be
Ace.
fun. Yeah, Sugar and Ace, Ace in the hole. Um
Bob and Susie.
Bob and Susie. I was gonna say uh
Brett and Natalie. Yeah. Sandra and
no, who,
Courtney,
Sandra
A
or
lot of
Courtney.
Courtney
I know
could
who.
be.
No, who? Damn. Who is Ozzy and Amanda?
Lucy and Amanda. Yeah.
I don't think that would work somehow.
Brian and Clay, rest in peace. Yeah.
Would
Rudy
be
and
amazing.
Rich.
Rudy and
Rest in
Rich.
peace.
There you go.
Also.
Um,
Colby and Jerry. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of
Colby and Jerry.
duos, like
Yeah, I guess there
duos
already were.
slash rivals you could
There
use
already
for
were
sure.
some duos here, though. I guess so. Maybe not. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But you could do. There was a. I feel like there was one from like Marquesas that I'm forgetting about.
Sean and Pascal. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty. It was a pretty iconic duo for that season. So,
Pascal over there
yeah.
sleeping with who? What was the controversy with Pascal? Lost his job as like a judge because he was sleeping with some younger
yeah.
lady.
No, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But I don't
Yeah.
I don't remember the timeline. I think that was after this, so it's still fair game.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think there's it's the thing is there's so many people that have played this game now that it's like it can be kind of hard. But I
There's a
think like
lot.
to me like Sester Nino is definitely up there. Yao Man would be kind of fun to have back around again.
Mm.
Um, yeah,
Our underedited
Earl,
king.
Earl, or
No.
um,
Yule.
or Yule. Yeah, Yule would be great
Mm.
too.
The Goo Man also says it's been widely talked about by fans and corroborated by the cast that Colby was not fully invested in playing this season. Could you feel that personally watching the edit, and do you agree or disagree? I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
yeah.
we kind of saw that in the edit when it was just sort of like he just sort of faded into obscurity for a while.
And you would always just be there. You
Yeah.
kind of a background character, and then not going well in the challenges. I've heard hearing him talk about it that it was just like he was missing that sense of adventure that was there
Yeah.
in the earlier seasons. Like he couldn't explore as much as he'd like to, that kind
I
of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's such an interesting I think we talked about this I think on
Yeah,
the in the finale. That's just such a fascinating like I totally could understand that. Because like uh All Stars would be I think was a lot more open in that regard. That was because this was very like honed in on the gameplay. And All Stars was to a degree too, but um that and Australian Outback were very
they were
much
getting,
more I
they
think it
were
was
building creative shelters and shit, and they had
yeah.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of like for especially like for somebody that loves the outdoors and exploring kind of just nature in general, like
Yeah,
yeah, you can't really think of better of a better scenario than to like go off and explore. But if you're restricted to a certain area, then it's like that can be really limiting, I think. So yeah.
for sure.
Yes, you could kind of tell. You could kind of tell just by the he just is like I don't know. He just was sort of loping around. He just like is lackadaisical. He was loafing, and it was just kind of it was tough. It
Hmm.
was kind of tough to watch because he was the go getter of the Outback. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Also worth noting, I could have said that up front that like at the time I got these questions and comments, we've only released through episode 13, so they haven't seen the finale. We
hmm
don't even know like your reaction to it, so I wouldn't be
yep,
surprised if there's stuff about that in here.
sure, sure.
Bousy commented, on paper, it's the best Survivor cast, and IMO a top 5 Survivor season, but I'll always believe the boot order holds it back from the definitive best season. In my opinion, Rob's alliance was far more likable going into the season, and having Suri go out so soon is tough. If we had a merge of like JT, Amanda, James, Colby, Suri, Rob, Courtney, Tyson, Coach, and Sandra, it would have been the greatest season of all time without a doubt. Parvati or Rupert replacing any of them would be cool too. Also agree with the other comments saying you gotta show Alec the unaired Courtney confessionals because she's easily the best at giving confessionals. Yeah.
She's she's got a sense of humor that I love. I don't know. She's
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where it's like originally it like because she's very different than like others. So like I think maybe it was kind of like a little drop shock when we get to China and then she's just kind of like there. But it's like the more you kind of hear from her, the more like oh it's okay. Like I actually know girls that
Mm-hmm.
are a lot like this that talk like this, and so it's like she's funny.
It's
She's
very
really
easy
funny.
to very easy to root for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a little bit nitpicking to say that the boot order sets it back. I think there's some great characters mixed in the pre-merge for sure. Like it's unfortunate that Rob and Coach and Tyson are cut just short.
And Suri
Suri,
gets
yeah,
out early. Yeah. Yep.
but it's like at the same time the cast is that loaded. So it's like we got the couple that we mentioned were more questionable, and Danielle and Candace, but even they, you got to see some more from them, and I think they added to it. And
Had a good
so
season. Yeah. I will say like even some of my like Candace from Railroad Tribe, even she was like influential in the season, to a degree. So it's like
yeah,
you can't knock it.
so I guess
You can't knock it for that.
in an ideal world, you switch out a couple of them, but it's like you're hard pressed to find another season that has a perfect boot order. most Survivor
Yeah, really.
seasons
Yeah.
are
You're not gonna have
significantly worse. You can
right.
have a lot of the duds kind of being dragged along for the ones that are actually playing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, who are you? What's his name? I don't even remember his name now. I mentioned him earlier from Samoa.
Brett, yes, Brett.
Yeah, Brett.
That was a
Brett.
fact. That was a legendary
You're
boot order, Samoa.
having Brett, the guy
having
we'd heard literally no
having
words from
having
for whole
Brett,
episodes.
Brett, Mick, Natalie, Jason, Shambo. Man, these are good. Monica, Dave
Man,
Ball,
these are good.
Danger Dave Ball. I mean, it's
Danger Dave.
really a great end game. But yeah, the returning casts obviously are
Yeah,
inherently
yeah.
gonna be much better. And then we had this near perfect cast. So we got a comment from Manu Segal. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Um, for you guys, I'm curious about the ranking of the winner and cast for the first 20 seasons. Um, we will be doing a separate video where we will be
We will.
ranking. It's been a tradition the last few seasons now. Do a separate video where we'll rank the season, the winner, and the cast. Amidst the and the season winners we add to our ongoing ranking. And he said, you guys should just take a moment to reflect on the 20 seasons of the franchise and ask Alec as to where does he see the seasons going from here. How has his approach changed while watching Survivor all the way from Borneo till Heroes vs. Villains? Favorite / iconic moments of all time, favorite players and characters of all time. So favorite moments and stuff, we probably could do some sort of separate video with that. Favorite players of all time, we're actually going to do at the end of this, towards the end of this video, we're going to update Alec's top 10 favorite players overall. So we'll touch on that. But how would you say your approach has changed from watching Survivor from Borneo, where it all started, to Heroes versus Villains? I'd be interested to go back and watch like what you were
Yeah.
saying after first watching it.
Yeah, it's true. I actually haven't gone back and listened to our reviews of the earlier seasons in quite some time, so I actually don't even really remember. I mean,
It's
I will
so
say
different now.
when we started watching Survivor in general, I was a major skeptic. I don't even know if we've really gone into this so much. We probably mention it offhand here and there, but I was kind of
Mm-hmm.
a skeptic. I was kind of a little bit. I will even go so far as to say I was a little bit of a hater.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was like poking fun at like blah 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 trash
Reality
reality
TV.
is trash because like and like to be frank a lot of it is um but there is the game shows are generally very good. I mean, like I even admitted like I really liked growing up. I watched Amazing Race a lot. I really liked that show.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it a lot recently, but I don't even know if it's, I'm assuming it's still, they still have
it
seasons
is.
of it. I don't, yeah. um but uh but yeah, this it did not take long. Zach was totally right. He's like, you watch like a couple episodes of this, and you're gonna be a fan. And he was completely right. Like,
Actually,
because
I wasn't
we
sure. I wasn't sure when I first
oh
started. I was like Borneo. I
hmm
was like, we'll try starting from the beginning, but it might
okay.
be, you might not, it might be too boring, or you might not be into it. You might need to skip to like more interesting season. But
I
you
took to
took
it
to it.
pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it is a
I
lot
was the guy
slower. Like especially if we went back and rewatched it now, you would probably see just how starkly
slow.
how much slower it is.
It's what's kind of funny is because I'm trying to remember what it was like, but I think I'm trying to remember because I think my parents originally like jumped around or something in some of the seasons, and or maybe I just encouraged them to start watching it, and I don't know, maybe they might have jumped around. I don't remember in terms of the seasons they watched, but I can't remember now. But I did go over one time when they were watching through Borneo, and I remember even then being like, "Wow, this is really like a lot more laid back than literally every
It's almost like documentary
everything else."
style the first season too.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a lot more like very different just in terms of a game. So I will say, like, I think I'm pretty set in terms of value structures, in terms of what I look for in seasons and what I look for in players that I like. And obviously I do appreciate the gamers, the strategic players, overall, but like I feel like the more seasons I've digested, the more that has happened, I think I can kind of appreciate a an all-rounded style of play. But if when it push comes to shove, I'm gonna generally be favoring the
The
gamers more
drama.
often than not.
Give in to the drama,
The-
everybody.
I've given into the drama too. I think that was a thing. That was another thing. The drop shock. I think of it was early China, right?
Hmm.
Where I was sort of like not into it, and I think if now maybe if I go back now, I probably would love China from the very beginning. I feel like I probably would,
Yeah.
because like we had a whole freaking we had Gabon. Gabon was just a giant pile of whatever was going on at Gabon. It was like
Yeah.
um
And
so
I mean, we don't like the John Robert drama, but we do like the Courtney drama.
yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
the Jean Robert drama was I think yeah, I think that was actually maybe the stuff I didn't like.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah.
she was just like had likable retorts to him with
Yeah.
how shitty he was. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so different if you go back to Australia. I'm constantly reminded, like, and I keep it's shocking every time I keep hearing that the finale of the Australian Outback, I believe, is like 2 hours, and it's the final three. It's like,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
oof,
yeah, that's crazy. How did you
oof,
draw that out?
that's
How did they
rough.
do that? How did they
Just a
do that?
lot of like dramatic, uh, contemplative time, I
Yeah,
guess.
I guess
But
so.
that's rough. And there's just a lot. I mean, these early seasons, there's a lot of just like sometimes nothing's really going on strategically. It's just like waiting around for the next person to be voted out. And you get a
Yeah.
little bit of drama here and there. It's now where it's like heroes versus
Yeah.
villains is really the polar opposite, where it's just like gotta be game on all the time.
Mm,
So
wow.
yeah, certainly changed a lot. Icy Purple 123. I think this is the first comment from them as well as the one I just read from Manu Segal. So we got some first commenters in here.
All right. Love to
Icy
see it.
Purple said, if you guys could change this cast in any way, who would you drop from the cast and who would you replace them with? So we're dropping Randy, we're dropping Candace, and we're dropping Danielle.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
think so.
Even though Danielle is entertaining on the season, just
Yeah.
in general for the cast, I would drop those three. And who would we replace them with? We mentioned Shane as a likely choice, or Johnny Fairplay,
Yes.
but
Yep, those
Shane
are
would
pretty
be a
good choices.
first return, so that would be good.
Yeah.
And then for the two ladies, that's hypothetically that's one female villain, one female hero.
Yeah.
Who you swap in there?
That's interesting.
Natalie Bolton's not a bad shout.
That isn't bad. She gave, especially towards the end of that season, she was given a lot. Um Maybe bring in someone like I'm trying to think of some of the earlier season ladies that I liked. Maybe Sheehan is a villain.
The
Sheehan
she
could be
devil
a
herself,
the She
yes.
Devil. Yeah, she could come in. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Um or hmm.
Twyla. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting Twyla's
Oh,
killer.
Twyla. Yeah, that would be great.
Twyla would have slapped in that
Yeah,
Danielle spot.
yeah, that would have been great. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a hero, a woman hero. Who would we have for that? There's like the kind of the cutie choices that people have talked about, like Colleen from the first season, Elizabeth
Oh
from the
yeah.
second
Yeah.
season. Those would be options,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
as a hero. I mean, you could also, if you wanted to throw in another winner, you could put in like a Vesepia.
Hmm?
Um,
Or beat the radar. Beat the radar herself.
Danny Boatwright.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't agree to that. Hey, you want to get Amber?
Mich-
Throw Amber.
Throw
Amber.
Amber in there. What about Michelle Yee from Fiji?
Oh
Is it
yeah, that would be
outside of the
fun.
box?
Yeah, that would be a little bit more unique thinking there.
Susie
Uh,
Smith, come on. Hero. Just give her the
hero,
hero title.
legend. She's just a legend. Okay,
She's
that's
in the Legends tribe.
yeah.
That's crazy, yeah.
Um.
I like that. Natalie White.
So what
All right.
is that the next? Is that the next? We have hero versus villains. Is the next we have legends versus losers? Like is that what
Ooh,
we're gonna have next?
losers. I'm on the losers tribe. Ah, cool.
You get like first vote outs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people that on one tribe and then everyone who's won on the other tribe. That'd be wild.
You're cooking.
Yeah.
Puka Puka Zero. This might be a first comment as well. For Alec, out of everybody in the cast, who would you like to see, or who do you think should get another shot at playing? You kind of answered this already, but
Yeah, I mean, I
so
think
out of this cast specifically, who would you like to see? Just name them all. Who would you like to see play again?
I gotta say Boston Rob. I gotta
Mr.
say
Rob.
it.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. Yeah, he's just nothing but. It's like the thing is, I'd love to see him. I'd honestly, gonna be honest here, would love to see Coach again. Would love to see
Mm-hmm.
Coach again. He's just that man. He is like he's the fascinating weirdo that Russell kind of is, but like without the heavy heaping like aspects of like he's not a dick about it. At least not most of the time. You know, he's a little bit arrogant, but he's not like it's more in a like it's like more in a self-assured way rather than thinking he's better than anyone else. It's very strange. I don't even understand like how his brain works. So
Yeah.
um
So you go through who do you want to see play
yeah,
again out of this cast?
out of this cast,
We'll go through them.
I mean Suri, Tom would honestly I'd love to see him again. I like Tom.
Okay, Sri, Tom, Rob, Coach,
Tyson,
Tyson.
Rob, Coach, James. I think James. I like James a lot, but I think I'm good with James. I think we've got plenty of James now. I think I'm good on
we've seen what
James.
we need to see.
I think seen what we need to see. Yeah.
So then, are you good on? You're good on Sugar, Stephanie, Randy.
Yeah. Bye, Randy. Stephanie might be interesting to have around. Sugar. Courtney. Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, here's the thing. Like, so many of these people are like, they're like icons. So it's like, of course, I'd love to see them again.
Oh, that's
How
it.
how could I
That's
not?
it.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking. Could be yes for
Yeah.
all of them, but all right. What about JT
JT, her, Amanda, Miss Doe Eyes herself, absolutely. Candace and
Woodcock,
Danielle, probably no, probably not.
Miss Woodcock?
Rupert,
If you're nasty.
Rupert, Rupert. Why not? Why would I not want to see him again?
Who
Colby,
the hell?
Colby should probably sit back and
should
enjoy his life.
sit back.
Uh, honestly, Jerry, maybe she could be
Uh
kind
huh.
of fun again. She was it's kind of a surprise, that she made it as far as she did to me. But
You got hands in your pants. What do you think?
I think I'm good on Russell.
Oh,
I think I'm
okay.
good on
Good on
Russell now
Russell.
too. Good on Russell.
Well, Parvati
Um,
and Sandra.
let's see them both.
All
Bring them
right.
back.
Look
Yeah,
at that. That's how good the cast is. It's
that
pretty.
is how it
It's
is
like a
insane
large
how good
majority
this
of them.
cast is.
You'll take them again.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
not sick of them.
And for Zach, how was it rewatching the season? Do you think you come out of it higher or lower than your previous thoughts? And what moment or thing did you totally forget happened in the season and only remembered it while on this rewatch?
That's a
Not,
great question.
I would say neither higher or lower because it's always just been super high, and so it's really hard to. It hasn't shifted from that at least. And then, yeah, I did rewatch it only like a year or two ago, So I'm trying to think if there's a moment that I forgot about. Honestly, the Tom tonight we make our remove tomorrow we make our apologies. I don't know if I really clocked that.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I first watched. So these standout moments early on, for sure. Um,
Yeah.
and well, now that you mention it, yeah, I was kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed Sandra towards the end. Like I always remember the under edited stretch. You don't remember the highlights at the end. They're really good. So those for sure. And for both of us, give your number one thing that happened in the season: a movie, a move, a quote, yeah, a movie, a treasure island,
Yep.
a move, a quote, a moment, just anything you think you'll be remembering for a long time. Number one thing that
The
happened in the
number
season.
one thing.
Yeah.
I mean that Tom line goes hard. That's gonna be that's crazy to say that
That's
on
not
a
number
season full.
one.
It's not a number one thing, but number one thing would probably be, oh boy.
You tell me.
I mean, it might be the Tyson Russell moment, honestly.
Really?
That
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Him
that
voting
was huge.
himself out?
It completely changed the whole trajectory of everything.
Yeah.
But the Parvati Idol play too, the double idol.
That's the one that always
Um,
comes to mind first. That's the one I remember the
yeah,
most.
yeah,
So
that's pretty huge.
there's so many good quotes though. You know,
Yeah,
I'm against you, Russell. It just
I'm
hits.
against you, Russell. Yeah, that was actually one of the first things that came to my mind too. I'm against you, Russell.
Yeah.
You're a despicable human being.
Sandra has a lot of great quotes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
You want Russell gone? Russell's gone.
What? Uh, spoiler alert: he was not gone. Yeah.
Yep. No, he wasn't. Unfortunately, that was the moment. Um. Yeah, I would probably say yeah. It's probably like one of those like the sort of like big moves there. One of those three things could easily be something that I remember. It probably would be the double idol play, just because there hasn't been anything even remotely close to that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we got Gabriel Ruzan, another first time comment that I've seen. Look at this.
Right. Bring it on.
Not really a question, but I'm just super excited for Alec to know about blank. I'm gonna leave that blank because I'm gonna. A lot of people comment, or a couple of people comment on this specific thing, but I decided I think we're gonna do a bonus video that essentially there's a collection of Ponderosa videos for the season that I
Okay.
think we should
Interesting.
watch as a fun little side video. So they did a video after each of the jurors came back. You
Hmm.
know, getting like it's like a little behind the scenes when they're coming first, getting voted off, coming to Ponderosa, like their initial thoughts, and then like they're getting weighed in, seeing themselves for the first time, getting to eat and interact with everybody. It's fun little
Yeah.
vlogs
Mirrors.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just like a moment in there people wanted me to highlight, but I think we might just watch that and I'll include that in there. So the Ponderosa stuff, I think it'll be fun,
Okay.
and I think
Oh,
they have them
interesting.
for the next several seasons. So we could play it by ear whether we want to do it for future seasons, but I think especially
Hmm.
for heroes versus villains, it's a fun time.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't know they did anything like that. That's great. I kind of looking forward to seeing that now
Yeah,
as well. Even though I don't know what the moment in particular they're referring to is, but I definitely want to see that.
yeah. Also, can't wait for his thoughts on the winner of the season post watching the final tribal council, and if he thinks another player should have won. I personally love the winner, but there's another player in the final three that I thought played a better game due to the circumstances this contestant had to play with. All right, Gabriel. Well, yeah. So they haven't seen the finale yet. Obviously, Alec was all for it. Was all for Sandra
Yeah,
winning,
all for it.
but
All for it.
he's definitely talking about Parvati. Um,
Yeah.
Parvati's incredibly impressive because she had so many, like she said, the circumstances they had to deal with, where they were targeting her on the villains tribe from day
Sure.
one, and they're targeting her from the
Yep.
heroes, and she makes it all the way to the end, having
Yeah.
won previously too. It's like
It's
kind of
crazy.
crazy. So
Yeah.
in my ideal world, I probably would, have Parvati win that. I think it would be really
Yeah.
satisfying. But
Right.
Sandra's satisfying in a different way.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, super long comment from Josh, who's been a mainstay on the channel for some time. One important behind the scenes thing to note going forward is that this season represents the last time Mark Burnett gave a shit about Survivor. From season 21 forward, Jeff Probst will take over his role as executive producer and start executing his own vision of Survivor. So yeah, this is where Jeff goes from just being a host and now he's executive producer. So he actually has say in the
Interesting.
game.
Interesting. Okay.
So when you're reviewing future seasons, it's important to remember there's a new person in charge. Um, a lot of people watched Heroes versus Villains as their first season because it's both usually rated the best season online and is often the season Paramount allows to be on other streaming platforms. Do you think people should watch this season first before the originals? One negative thing I hate about that is that it causes people to skip seasons like the Amazon or Vanuatu because they are, quote, not important for getting to Heroes versus Villains.
Right.
Yeah, that's something I've heard too. Because it's like, yeah, if
Yeah.
you want to catch up Heroes versus Villains, this is what you got to watch, and so you're gonna miss out on a couple bangers in there. But yeah, in an ideal world, if you have someone committed like this, you watch all seasons leading up to it. But obviously,
Right.
that's
Like I did.
yeah,
It is the ideal. I mean, I think my parents sort of did that too. I mean, like I said, I think early on they sort of skipped around a little bit, but I think they mostly
but
I think they made it
obviously,
to I'm assuming they made it past here. I had to
yeah.
have. I'm gonna actually ask. I feel I haven't asked them about that recently because I know they stopped watching it at some point in like the 30s or something. But I should ask them like about like how far they get into this and what they thought of the season because to me the buildup of it is kind of what makes it kind of so good, and
Mm-hmm.
it's fun to me because like this is only your second season, so but it is still like you loved it pretty much since you saw it before too. So
Yeah. So
um,
I mean, it stands alone for sure. But
mhm.
so in an ideal world, you have them watch all the seasons before, but that's not always realistic, especially if you're trying to get
Right,
someone into Survivor. It's like
right.
oh, you gotta watch 30 seasons of Survivor. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And they're like, no, I
yeah.
won't
Let's
even bother
nah,
then.
yeah,
So it's like,
right.
okay, maybe we just hit up let's go Pearl Islands, uh um fans versus
Micronesia,
favorites, here's what's villains,
Cook Islands, maybe
skip it
throw it in
around.
there.
But yeah, we're seeing, to me, it's like to appreciate this high of a high, like we had to go through the lows. That makes it even better. Because we've
You have to get through
seen,
your Thailands
yeah, we've
and your
seen rougher
your
Survivor.
and your Gabones and your Fijis. So
Starting, if you want someone to just watch a season, it's incredibly risky to start with Heroes versus Villains because that sets the bar so high, I
yeah,
think.
that's true.
Because then it's like, oh man, then it's just like, and it's not as special to them. It's like, okay, this is Survivor, okay. And then they go on to other seasons and they're like, I'm good. But you really build to this, and all the history behind it is even makes it even better.
Time, yeah.
Um, how often should Survivor bring back returning players? What do you think? So now in these first 20 seasons, we had All Stars of season 8. Then we brought back Bobby John and Stephanie on season 11.
Right.
And then we had half returning players season 16. And now all returning players season 20. So kind of sporadic.
It is a little sporadic. I think
How often would you think would be a good amount,
every
or like?
I every because every five feels right, like as a right correct number, kind
Mm-hmm.
of. Five seems like right as a number just because it's like the iconic number. It's the number for anniversaries. So you have your 25 and your 30. So like stuff like that. This is season 20 here. Like they wanted to do something big for the 20th season. 10 years of Survivor on the air. Um, so that so some of that stuff like that kind of makes sense to do something like that. But to me, I think you do sort of got to play it by ear. Like I think like it was kind of good that they spread it out a little bit in the ways that they did. Like I don't necessarily have a problem with them doing that. Because it didn't necessarily feel that it was too soon for Micronesia for them to have brought people back even for this. I don't think.
It was almost like
Um,
with the all returning or mostly returning players, it was like we did 8, which was a random number, but then okay, now we've doubled it for 16, and then okay, well now 20 is a nice even number, so maybe do that. So it ended up being 8, 16, 20 or the
yeah.
major returning player seasons.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean it's hard to deny. I mean the last 2 returning player seasons have been our top
the
2 right
best.
now, so
Yeah.
can't be mad at it too much.
No. No. Not at all.
When I asked back in Micronesia, you said 4 idols was pushing it. This season breaks that record by including 6 idols. Is that too many, or would you like them to keep having this many idols going forward? You didn't feel like too many there this season, did it?
It didn't, and I wonder if that's just because like I think one of the only reasons that they had that many of them is just because they kept getting used, right? Like because I think it would have been
Mm-hmm.
4, 2 for each tribe, but then they kept getting used, so then we ultimately ended up getting like 2 more a piece. So um
Well, yeah, Russell used one in the
yeah.
pre-merge,
Hmm.
and then yeah, then he got another one, and then JT had his, and that came over.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then they used those. Then Danielle's clue, they found another one. So yeah, it was
And
just kind of
Yeah. Sandra, yeah, had one
they
there.
added
Yeah.
another one there. Yeah. So they replaced the 2 seemingly. They introduced them at random moments, but
Hmm.
yeah. So it really was once they were used, they were replaced. That's how it worked out.
Yeah. So I don't know, because it's hard to say if like in earlier seasons if they would have just replaced them or if they're one time, just like a one time thing in the game. Um. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. It maybe. Yeah. You don't want too many idle. Like to me, this is sort of one of those special cases, is because this is all returning players. At least giving them some bit of leverage, extra leverage like that is like that's the only like real twist, I guess you could say, of the whole game is just had the fact that there's
Yeah.
multiple idols in that potentially in play at once. Um, but that did make for it made for some amazing moments. It made for a lot of fun. I would say probably not every season should you have so many idols around, but um, because then it starts to be like relied upon or old, gets old. But um, it's definitely a play by ear type thing. I think there's ways that you can do that well, and I think there's ways that you can do it poorly. So I think here it was implemented pretty well. So
Mm-hmm. All right. He said Coach actually has a secret code written on his votes where he was in the process of spelling out Dragon Slayer.
that's
We
amazing.
noticed like a couple things
Yeah,
being in
I
the
think I said
corner.
that was like D, or I remember there being like a O. Like what is this 0 or
Yeah.
L? Yeah,
Like I thought it was numbers though, unless it's like that's what he means by secret code. Like it
maybe that is the
corresponded.
secret code. Yeah, this
Pretty.
number is, and maybe it was. Yeah.
He said pretty much every big name player was given an initial call to see if they would be interested to play on this season. While there were a couple people like Earl and Yule who declined, most were interested.
Mm,
It would take too much to go over every player who was rejected, so here's some highlights. Natalie Bolton from Micronesia was the female alternate. You can find her unused cast photos online. The show publicly confirmed they preferred to have Corinne over Danielle, but Corinne canceled on them and Danielle was her backup. Wow. I didn't know they
Oh,
confirmed
okay.
that.
Huh.
I knew Corinne was an
Interesting.
option, but I just never really was here for
Yeah.
Corinne and Gabon,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
makes sense in that spot though.
It does. Yeah.
Richard Hatch was blocked by a judge from going on the show due to his tax evasion. Yep. There's been many players who claimed to be the male alternate. However, none of that mattered because when Russell got in the cast, they had to kick somebody off of it, and that was Shane Powers, who was demoted to
Yeah.
male alternate. Fair Play was never getting anywhere near the season because Jeff hates him personally. Um, yeah, so there's a little
Yeah.
backstory on Sugar going into the season, which like kind of explains some of it from what we've
Mhm.
heard. I think basically through Sugar is that Sugar was actually hooking up with JT pregame, who was cheating on his girlfriend at the time with her.
Oh, damn.
She expected they'd be in an alliance together, but he brushed her off and pretended it didn't happen. She was actually much worse than they showed out there and may have been ejected for mental health reasons if they didn't kick her off. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I remember hearing like she
Damn.
was. I think she straight up said that she was almost like suicidal and when she got voted out and stuff like in
Oh,
Ponderosa.
wow.
So it was a whole thing. Like she really was in a rough state at that time.
Right. Right. Well, wasn't she going? Well, I'm trying to rack back. Was like her? Is this like a family member that was like doing poorly or something? I'm trying to remember what the
Her dad had died
was.
recently.
Her
That's
dad.
why she like Bob
Right. Right.
wrote it back
That's it. Yeah.
attached to Bob, and
Yeah.
that's why
That's
Bob
right.
won the season.
Right. Right. That's right.
Now, I said back in Samoa that Russell versus Natalie was probably the second most debated topic in Survivor history. The ending to this season is probably the first. At the time, Russell was the fan favorite who people thought was robbed back to back, so most people thought he should have won. A sizable amount of people still thought Parvati should have won, and almost no one thought Sandra should have won. Over time, as Russell has continued to act like an asshole in public, people realized why he lost, and now the majority think Parvati was robbed.
Okay. You're entitled to that opinion.
The reasons why Russell lost this season are fairly blatant and the same as in Samoa, so I won't say too much. He's still an arrogant misogynist who almost everyone ended up hating by the end of the season. He was burnt out from playing 2 seasons back to back with only a 2-week break. He also fully thought he had won Samoa, so he thought he had no reason to change his strategy. Ultimately, Russell has 2 fatal flaws that caused him to lose twice in a row at the end. One, he is unable to recognize that jurors don't usually tend to reward winning challenges, finding idols, and flashy moves. And 2, he thinks he can just lie to everybody and act like a jerk the whole season and then just get to the end, apologize, and all will be forgiven.
But he doesn't really even apologize.
He doesn't, yeah, there's no sort of sincere apology
Yeah.
either. That's another issue. It's also pretty commonly accepted that Samoa was treated as an advertisement for Heroes vs. Villains rather than its own season. They knew that Russell would be going to the end back to back and needed to make sure audiences came out of that season excited to see him come back. You also need to show Russell's weight loss pictures as well across the 2 seasons. Oh, I meant to pull that up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'll try to pull
Yeah,
that
we
up.
mentioned that, I think, during the finale. But
Yeah, it's like a big thing that people will point to show
Yeah.
Survivor's real. Like, look at this man.
Yeah.
Day 1 of
Look at this.
Samoa, day
Right.
39 of Heroes vs. Villains.
Right, this is over the course of, remember, this is over the course of like around 100 days because it's like
Right.
40 days and then 40 days and then like a 2-week break. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, over 100 days, this is what this man transformed.
Yeah. The Parvati versus Sandra debate is still going hard to this day. Open up any social media app and you will still find people debating it. The reason why is because while the reasons Russell lost are fairly blatant, the reasons why Parvati lost are a lot more vague and off-screen. I'm just going to explain why Sandra beat Parvati below, and I'm not going to necessarily say that all the reasons I say are fair. Number 1, Parvati simply wasn't liked preseason. Parvati came into this game with a lot of people already not liking her due to stuff that happened between seasons. In particular, Amanda and Candace apparently left their seasons with very negative feelings about her. It also didn't help that her 2 biggest friends on the Heroes side, and Suri and James, both left pre-jury. On the flip side, Sandra had a decent amount of close relationships heading into this game. Obviously, she and Rupert were close, but she also was very close with people like Candace, who lived very close to her house, and Courtney as well.
Oh,
There were a lot of
interesting.
people going into this game who would have been very happy to see Sandra as a winner. But we knew this as we see her repeatedly try and warn Russell, but he never listened, which leads me to reason number 2. Russell as an ally. Unquestionably, Parvati could not have gotten to the end of this game if it were not for Russell. He gave her 2 idols and was instrumental in pulling in Jerry and Coach, 2 people who did not like Parvati at all going into this game. However, as Russell likes to say, if you play with fire, you'll get burned. People hated Russell in this game, and since she spent most of the game empowering him, the jury hated her too. Russell was also very overbearing, blocking Parvati from making much needed social bonds with the heroes by threatening to have a temper tantrum like a toddler would. We also
Yeah, we kind
see
of see that happening. We kind of saw some of that happening. It's crazy.
we also see Russell repeatedly ignore good ideas, which lead to her losing Candace and Danielle post-merge, which was horrible for the both of them. She had 0 chances of beating Jerry or Sandra, who were much more respected than either Russell or Parvati, so Parvati effectively lost the game by final 6. You also have multiple jurors looking to humiliate Russell as much as possible at Final Trouble Council, and for Russell, losing to Sandra would be much more humiliating than losing to Parvati. On the flip side, you have Sandra repeatedly and publicly standing up to Russell and calling him out on his bullying tactics while also humiliating him at points. This led to a very positive jury, Sandra, which leads me to point 3, narrative/marketing. In Survivor, every person out there has their own narrative of what happened. The show then takes the footage and produces their own narrative. In the show's narrative, they prefer it when the most exciting player wins. However, for the players on the show and on the jury, they want to award a winner who they can feel good knowing for the rest of their lives, knowing they lost Survivor to that person. As in any political campaign, it is important to craft a narrative where you are the charismatic underdog who people feel good rooting for. As a player, you should be thinking about what the jury thinks about you because they are the ones whose opinion matters most. Sandra pretty effectively sets herself up as the lovable underdog and the outsider fighting against an oppressive system.
I just want to I want to interrupt here just for 1 second just to say that's actually a huge thing about political races. It's actually more about the way people feel than the actual points, which is kind of crazy to think about, but that makes a lot of sense when you because that's just the way people think. It's just the way people work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Whether that be in her funny attitude about sucking at challenges or her not giving a shit about calling people out to their face. Meanwhile, Parvati and especially Russell frequently set themselves up as both the villains and the favorites to win. It is human nature to want the underdog to win, whether it be Rocky beating Apollo Creed or Rudy getting a chance to play. If you're in the power position like Russell and Parvati were, you can't let an underdog get to the end because they will win. Parvati has said her biggest regret was not turning against Russell at 6, and I think if she blindsides him at 6 and sends him to the jury humiliated and cursing her out, that does a lot for her image. Okay.
Interesting idea, yeah.
And number 4 was age/maturity. $1 million is a lot of money. I know it's an obvious statement, but sometimes it's worth remembering that there is more than a title at stake here. People don't want to award someone $1 million to someone who they think will waste it. On one hand, you have a married person with a husband in the military and 2 kids. On the other hand, you have a younger person who doesn't have the relationships and also blew a significant portion of their previous $1 million on a failed business idea. People just will generally feel more comfortable giving $1 million to an older person who is viewed in society as more mature, especially if they have a family to support.
Extremely true. Extremely true. Yeah.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, where it's like in an ideal world, you don't want to vote based on need or things like that, but it's hard to deny the impact. You know, even us saying like, who would we vote for in this situation? It's really hard to say. And that's why we even said in Samoa, it's like, you have someone like Russell who's so arrogant and who then like let out that he had $1 million already.
Yeah.
Like it makes it very easy to want to vote for the nice young lady instead.
Yeah, a nice upstanding citizen.
Okay, the last thing that he says, ultimately you have 2 back-to-back seasons where at the time about 95% of people didn't agree with the winner, which demonstrates the biggest flaw in the show, which Chef hates. The flaw is that the show wants you to think the winner wins this game because of their blind sides, challenge wins, and flashy idol plays, While in reality, it's all the small social things that really matter a ton that the show can't focus on because it'd be pretty boring TV. It's getting up early to help with chores, being funny around the camp, and overall just being pleasant to be around that account for a lot. It is the job of the strategic / cerebral players to use the tools of the game to not let these players get to the end. Where Parvati ultimately failed was by letting Jerry and Sandra get farther than Candace and Danielle. Very, very, very well said.
Yeah, extremely insightful. Yeah, I have to pretty much agree with basically all that. Yeah, I think yeah, it's interesting you say yeah because it's like it's the part that yeah, it's interesting that's the part that Jeff hates isn't depicted. It's this
Yeah.
it's one of those things that it's hard. It's hard to show that in a way that's engaging and entertaining. And I wonder it's because it's interesting that you say that he also says that Mark Burnett also no longer cares about the show. I'm assuming that means he's no longer executive producer. Um, I don't know. Maybe something will change in terms of the way that the show is presented.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if maybe that's a false idea that I'm now kind of maybe having the idea of, but it is interesting that it's like 20 seasons of this building up to this certain way, and now moving forward, I at least have the knowledge that if something is different, if something feels different, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So
All right. So thank you to Josh for that.
yeah,
And then he also commented separately. One fun idea I had for bonus content is to have your fans rank the seasons and the winners and whatever other rankings you end up doing and comparing them to your own results. That would be fun. That would be cool.
that would be fun.
But I
Yeah,
also don't know how many, honestly, how much feedback we would get on those if we were to poll. It's not like we have a huge audience. So I would love to, we have a lot of people commenting here, but
that'd be kind of fun
it would be
though.
cool to compare. That would be cool. Should I respond with, I love that. Getting the community's rankings involved would be super fun to see. Graph
Yeah, this is
emoji.
that's right. It was the AI responses. Yeah.
Or,
So for those of you who don't know, I guess if you I don't know if
yeah.
this is only available to the creators, but like
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
creator
Some of
account.
the
So you can
creator side.
actually
Yeah.
like from the creator side, you can actually you just have AI respond to the comment basically
You
to
can.
to
I don't. You
yeah.
can. All right.
You can. Yeah. We don't do that, but we do present it because it is very funny how formulaic in some
Yeah.
ways it is.
That's a
It's
great
always like
idea. I'll
always
definitely look into setting something like that up.
emoji. Is there an emoji in
No
that one?
emoji on that one.
That's
There
shocking.
was a graph emoji on the other one that I said
A
though.
graph emoji.
uh, Chase Ferrier, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yes,
He's our
indeed.
last commenter, but he has a lot of different things. Let's see what we got here.
Heck yeah, let's go. Thank you
Um,
for everybody.
yeah,
I'll that's preempting it a little bit, but
yeah, and we
this I love.
appreciate the support. I mean, it's kind of almost spoilery how enthusiastic people were about the season from the start because it's symbolic of how beloved the season is. You know, it's like everybody
Yeah,
from the jump. Like we had their most viewed video with the cast reveal and everything.
yeah,
You know, people were super enthusiastic about the season. You know,
yeah, yeah.
so it shows. He said there's so much that it could be said about the season, but I'll go with this. In the reality where Tyson doesn't flip his vote, how do you think the season goes down? Rob dominated the season, and do you think it would have been better that way? Who am I to
Yeah, I
say?
think
How dare I say that it would be better that way? First of all, we got
yeah,
10 out of 10 season. I'm like, yeah, it definitely would have been
it
better.
made it better. Yeah, it's hard to say that. I think it was interesting. There was a previous commenter that sort of said that like you'd have Suri and or that whatever whoever the like ideal
If those people
merged
lasted
tribes
longer, yeah,
were.
Rob's Alliance and
Yeah,
Suri.
yeah, yeah. That would be. I mean, that would be great. Don't get me wrong. But that's a totally different show
That'd be
at that
great,
point.
but
It's hard to say.
I don't know. You know, like if you look at All Stars and
Yeah,
how Rob does things, didn't really
yeah.
lend itself to the most exciting end game, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's like it
So,
was great in some ways, but it wasn't a 10 out of 10 season. I think I have that ranked like C or something. Like it's not my
pretty
favorite
low.
season of the show for sure.
But,
Um
and like Russell as a character is a lot more just divisive naturally, and he just creates drama around him in a way that's
Right.
very interesting.
That that just makes it that just does make it more entertaining at the end of the day. It makes it more, yeah, it makes it more messy, and in a lot of ways that's kind of what you
But I do love all
especially,
Rob's alliance though.
yeah,
Rob's
it's true.
alliance was Sandra,
Amazing.
Courtney, Tyson,
Yeah.
and Coach, kind of.
Yeah. Coach is like in yeah, he wasn't sure where he stood exactly, but he definitely trusted him more than
All
Russell.
killer,
So,
all killer, no filler.
yeah, basically, yeah. That's an amazing group.
Would it? It's funny because yeah, Rob does get screwed, but people always do kind of like wide brush it, like, oh yeah, Rob would have had it. Like it would have been everything coming up Rob at that point. But it's like I have no idea. We have no idea how that looks. It looks so
Not even
different. Like
remotely.
even seeing that alliance then interact with the heroes from then on, and
Yeah.
what that looks like. Because then you have like the
Yeah.
dynamics of Coach and Tyson mixed with JT. You have potentially Courtney and Amanda. So there's a lot of other elements that we would have to see play out. But
Right, yeah. It's hard. One of the things that's like the ripple effect is it's so hard to predict exactly that.
in a season full of big moves, what was your favorite understated move that someone made? Hard to say. I liked when Randy threw his buff in on the way out. Doesn't get enough love.
He threw his buff into the fire. The fire that's clearly not supposed to be have fuel added to it in that way.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I so much of the season is so like iconic that I haven't been having to refer to my notes for most of this. Like
Yep.
think about that already, right? Like what's going on with that camera? That's crazy. There's been plenty of seasons where I'd have to like run back through everything and try to remember that, but
But understated, I'm
um
trying to think of like a low key. I'd say maybe an understated move is when JT lied to who was it? He lied to Candace about Cerise saying something about her,
oh
something like
yeah,
that.
oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He kind of sowed a little distrust. I mean, I'm trying to think of something like that because JT did do some good things early on. They kind of get overshadowed by his idol shenanigans.
Yeah.
I did like when Rupert chimed in and contributed to the letter and said, try to show that you prove if you really are a villain or not. Rupert's Rock is pretty good for an understated move.
Rupert's Rock is pretty great. Um
Rupert goading Russell into
Rupert that's yeah, I think if we're talking about that's one of my favorite moments in the later parts of the episodes. I love that. It's not like it's not like a huge strategic blow or anything like that, but it's like it's just adding more to the momentum that like Rupert is just like he's had enough of this guy and he's gonna tell him what he thinks about him.
like Rupert, as much as he's not super strategic, and this was all like right before he gets voted out, but it's like
Mhm.
he was locked in, and he was at least putting
Yep.
in the work where Colby really wasn't at that point. It was
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Russell has said that he put his entire soul into this show, and by the end of the season, he was just entirely burnt out and not in a good mental state. Um, he also claimed that when he got home, production and the doctors never checked up on him, and it hurt his personal life moving forward. Thoughts on that?
Production and his doctor never checked in on him.
Production and the doctors never checked up on him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know about the doctors. I have no idea what that has to do with anything. But
Well, I don't know if it's looped in with like the mental health professionals as well. I don't know, but there is a certain.
eh,
I know,
okay,
especially
maybe.
now they make sure to like make sure the contestants are taken care of after the fact because like it's very
Actually,
fucks up your
that's a really
mind
good
a little
point.
bit.
That's a really good point. I hadn't even completely, but now that we're talking about this, like especially when you were talking about like the sugar being in kind of a
Yeah.
bad way. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of messed up. I mean, like even if if he's coming on here and he's kind of an asshole, it's like it's still you should still there is still an aspect of it. You essentially like you cast him, you put him in your production of a certain way. Like you should, and you had him broadcast on national TV for over
Yeah.
a year, right? So,
Well,
um,
first of all, this is alleged from Chase Ferrier. We always have to say alleged for Chase Ferrier's comments. Second of
okay,
all, it's alleged because Russell said it, so who the fuck knows, right?
that's true.
The
Well,
fucking everything he
thoughts on
says
that
is a
are
lie.
if it's true, that's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. Yeah,
In general, yeah. And I think Survivor does
yeah.
better with that now. But
Yeah, it is still like
it
what
can fuck up
2010. I think.
it can fuck people's
Yeah,
lives up. People have definitely
yeah.
gotten fucked up from playing Survivor and and
Well, I mean,
losing.
we've heard about people like what's her name, the cop lady who they said salacious things in the newspapers about me.
Well, she did hook up with her what was it?
Stepson.
Stepson. It's just weird, How
That's
dare
weird. That's weird. Listen, lady, that's weird.
they? Was the boot list a little disappointing looking back? No, no. Let's like the boot list
It's
isn't
called
that bad.
spade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Cerie's probably like the biggest like that, we're sad about, but like ultimately we got a great season of the show out of it.
There's a debate on if Jerry wins if Russell votes out Sandra or Parvati at 4. Thoughts? Well, Sandra definitely wins if he votes out Sandra because
Yeah.
it seems like you just swap Sandra out. Whoever's there is gonna win. If you vote Parvati out, if we're saying Sandra, Russell, Jerry,
Maybe.
probably
But
it's
I don't
still
know.
Sandra though. I
I
don't
think it's
know.
still Sandra because like
Well,
Jerry, the problem with Jerry is because I think some of the decisions that she made were still like, let's trust Russell.
mhm.
Like a lot of it was still kind of based in that sort of
Yeah, you just think
mentality.
about the
So like,
relationships at that point. I
yeah,
still feel like the heroes are more inclined to go with Sandra.
yeah,
Coach would go for Jerry.
hmm
Um, and then Courtney goes for Sandra. Parvati um, probably goes for Jerry.
yeah.
She got closer to Sandra towards the end there, but I'm not sure if that how much that would have affected her vote.
Mm.
And then Danielle probably votes for Jerry. So I mean, it would probably be a close vote, but I still
Yeah, it
think
would
Sandra
be.
might
I
get it.
I still think yeah, I still think when push comes to shove, I think she would still win, but it would have been a closer vote. Yeah,
Randy talked about how on his season he was the go-to guy whenever Jeff needed something, and then he felt pretty much ignored because of the other characters this time around. Is that a downside to having this many good characters that you lose out on a few of them? Right, because there's always going to have to be someone under-edited. If you put
yeah,
in a sea of main characters from previous
mhm,
seasons.
yeah.
But it's funny because Courtney ended up being like under-edited, but you think like that's the upside to having like a Candace or a Danielle's. They might be that the
Right,
under-edited character, but yeah.
right. But Randy, you were also in a very oddball season of that show. Don't forget that. Don't forget that for a second. You were in Survivor Gabon. Like,
Right.
like. Yeah, I mean, it is sort of the thing about having such a stacked cast. That is sort of the just the nature of it. That's gonna happen to some of them.
He says Rob, Russell, and Coach snuck out at Ponderosa pregame and were caught and threatened to be kicked off. I doubt they would have. Okay.
Right? That's
And,
interesting.
and he also says on night one, Rob distracted production and Tyson went to a boat and filled his canteen with the engine oil and threw it on the fire. That's why the villains had fire and then lost it because they had to put it out.
That was really okay.
And that's it for all the questions this time around. Let
All
me
right, wow.
let me respond. I appreciate all the BTS details. We cover a lot of those questions in the video, so I hope you enjoy the discussion. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. A lot of insightful comments. Appreciate the feedback, all of that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that was just like that was like an hour of
Hell yeah.
just going over these. Yeah, it's great. Like it's awesome that we have all this stuff to talk about with this.
Not a surprise that Here vs. Villains is the meatiest review we've had. You know, with
not at all.
questions is the large part of it. All right, so now it's time to revisit Alec's top 10 favorite Survivor players. All right, with such a monumental season. So last time we had, well, currently has Rob, Rupert, Rob C, Sari, Todd, Stephen Fishback, Jonathan Penner, Richard Hatch, Johnny Fairplay, Russell Hantz. Any addition or changes? I gotta present. Can I present to you like potentials?
Yeah, sure.
Who I'd like to for your consideration.
For my consideration, for my favorites, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Present some.
Parvati,
Parvati,
Sandra, Coach,
Sandra, yeah.
Courtney, Amanda.
Yeah, those are all viable considerations, and I think I'm gonna shake up this list. You shake up this list pretty significantly here.
I mean, like,
so I think Steven, I love Steven. Don't get me wrong, but I think I was maybe a little high on the Steven supply.
Yeah.
For that episode, for that season. So I think he's gonna just get. I think he's getting canned off the list, but that is gonna free up some room for some of these other people. And I will say Russell. Russell may also be headed off. I'm sorry, Russell. You were there for a little bit, but you may have overstayed your welcome a tad. So I do want to add. I am definitely going to add Parvati into this list, and I think I'm actually going to put her. I'm going to put her right.
So are you like? Is the top? Is it like ordered right, like from 1 through 5, or?
Let's bring. Okay. Boy, yeah, maybe we should just almost like redo the list.
Reset
entirely.
it. Here's the villains.
Well,
big
not
season.
fully. So we're gonna keep Rob as number 1. Number 1. Rob should be number 1. Rupert, I think we can still keep Rupert as number 2. I think that's still pretty fair. I mean, like I loved him being along this season, even though he wasn't like the big strategic guy or anything like that. It's just I just love him. I don't know. You just gotta love him. I think top 5 I want to kind of keep in the same place. I think what I'll do, so we'll keep those top 5, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put Parvati into where I'm going to put Sandra into where Todd is. So I'll drop Todd to 6th. But then we're going to put Parvati right under that.
So we're going Rob, Rupert, Rob, Sari, Parvati,
Sandra.
Sandra's first.
It's amazing what this season is doing to everything.
So you're saying 5 is Sandra or 5 is Parvati? Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess Sandra, Parvati, then Todd, or what?
Sandra, Todd. I think Sandra, Todd, then Parvati.
Okay, let's leave us with 8, 9, 10.
Yep, Penner.
2 more spots.
Fair play.
1 more spot in the top 10.
Courtney.
Sorry, Hatch. Evaded.
Yeah. He's still up there. He's still, if it's top 20, he's still right there.
Right. Need to expand to top 25.
Yeah, probably have to.
So Rob, Mariano, Rupert, Rob Cesternino, Suri, Sandra, Todd, Parvati, Jonathan Penner, Johnny Fairplay, Courtney. Is that right?
Amazing. There's three. Yeah, that's right. It's
We like
amazing
that.
because
We got
there's
some women in here. This is good.
multiple China, multiple uh Pearl Islands. A lot of Pearl Island representation here.
Micronesia.
Micronesia for sure. I mean, here's the thing: is because it's like it's it's hard not to favor people that have been on more than once. Like, because like
Yeah.
Yao Man's only been on like so often. We've only had like Yule once.
Remember when Rory was in the top 10? I remember.
I remember. I Pepperidge Farm remembers. I like Rory. Rory's a funny
I
guy.
remember.
Um, yeah.
Uh, yeah, so it's tough. The
Rafe,
legacy
I
comes
think
into effect.
was Rafe on here?
Rafe was in there
Rafe on
for a
here at
brief
this point? Yeah.
stint.
Yeah.
Stephanie
I like
LaGrossa
Rafe.
had a run in there. The
Yeah.
people coming and going to the top 10. That's how it
That's
goes.
true.
I like this though because it was feeling like a sausage fest a little bit before.
It was a little bit. It was a little bit. I think it just needed a little shake up. It
And
needed a little shake up. And
this was a season for the it's Micronesia. In addition to this, give it to the girls. They did such a good job in Yeah.
fantastic performances in both seasons.
And what
So
a turnaround for Courtney. Made the top
yeah,
10. Russell
yeah.
out. Stephen Fishback, sometimes you get
Yeah,
some up there and then there's out. Wow. He got up to
yeah,
number 6 and then he's gone.
yeah. He's blinking. He's just gone. I still like Steven. Steven
Yeah.
JT,
I don't think
great.
he's top 10 in terms of
Yeah,
what we've
definitely
gotten.
not. No.
But it's a great group we have here now,
Yeah.
I think.
Again, would have been fun to see Todd somewhere in this season.
Yeah.
It's fun player.
Yep. Yeah,
But
take Todd over Randy. Why not?
yeah, absolutely.
All right, there you go. And we'll continue to revisit after each season. Let's see. I mean, it doesn't even have to be the people in the season. It could be rearranged for no reason. Just how you're feeling.
Yeah, just be like, Richard Hatch needs to come back.
Mm-hmm.
That's like.
All right, lock in.
Oh, I'm
Lock it
excited.
in.
Let's go. I'm excited.
So we've done the extent of this review. We've talked about the entire season. We've broken it down, gave out awards, edited the top 10, gave all the questions. So now we'll end it off with this. So if you haven't yet, go in the description. We'll have a link to a reaction watching this. So this is all of her confessionals. There's not like one parsing it out. So it's got her 4 confessionals that were actually aired in the mix, but it also has the unaired ones, which is like, I don't know where all this extra footage comes from, but I don't know if it's from the DVD or what, or if they put it online at some point. But there's a lot of extra
Maybe.
stuff. I remember I even saw a video that was like, here's some extra like voting confessionals, and it was like voting confessionals that didn't make the air, but it was like raw audio, so it was just like bad audio, and just like you could hear the very loud paper. This voting for you for this, and some people had some lame shit they were saying. Like, I'm glad that didn't make the cut. But it's like,
I was like, man, I'm glad that didn't make it. That was stupid.
yeah, it's like people were trying, hoping they get a good line in there,
Yeah.
and it's just
Yeah.
some of it was not landing.
Not everybody can have Johnny Fairplay's incredible voting confessionals.
Yeah.
His were always his were the best. He was like a wrestler. He was the heel. He was always the heel, and it was great.
And we didn't get Sugars. Sugar would have given us some good stuff. A loser.
You loser.
All right,
Yeah.
we ready? There you go. Hey,
Yay. That was great.
how about that? There's a lot of gold that they left.
Yeah.
Wow.
Clash of the Testicles. They kept that
Clash
off
of the
the air. What the
Testicle.
hell?
That could have been like
That
an
was
episode
just-
title right there.
Yeah, basically. All right. Well,
Yeah.
if that doesn't solidify that she's in my top 10, I don't know
In the
what
top
else will.
10.
She was smiling
Yeah.
I was smiling the whole time. I can't not. That was great.
Great stuff. She's
Yeah.
one of the greatest confessionalists for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you got like
It's just she just has a way. It's just like there's something about the tone and the delivery, her delivery too. It's just like she gets it. She gets comedy. I don't know. It's very fun, very funny.
yeah. I mean, you think of some of the best are like Suri, uh, Boston Rob. You know, these are the kinds of ones that are known for it. But she's just like all, pretty much all comedy in her
Yeah,
confessionals here.
yeah, and they're great.
But yeah, so thank you everybody for watching this meaty, meaty review.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around.
Like I said, we're gonna be doing over the next few weeks some bonus videos. Next week we're gonna do our ranking Survivor Heroes versus Villains video, which is our standard ranking the season, ranking the winner, and ranking the cast. And then weeks after that we'll have, I don't know the exact order yet, but we have a couple ideas in mind. And one, like I said, we'll be going through those Ponderosa videos, the last little Heroes versus Villains bonus. And then we'll go into some other things like so to name a couple, we're gonna do a finalists tier list, 'cause that's been requested. We want to do ranking the Survivor logos. That'll be
I like
fun.
this idea a lot. But I already talked about the logo at the very
Yeah,
beginning here, many
and
hours ago now.
yeah, and was another one. I wanted to do one with most like the most screwed players by production. That'll be good. And I think I had another one too, but it's not coming to mind. But it'll be some fun variety content to kind of decompress from the legendary season, and
Mm,
then we can go into the next season. All right. How about
reasonable
that?
ask, I think.
How about that? All right, just patching in real quick. Forgot to add this thing into the review. Forgot to mention it. I mentioned it in the review, but I didn't show it. It's the
Yeah,
because constantly when people talk about is Survivor fake, they say,
right.
look at Russell Hanson day 1 of Survivor Samoa versus day 39 of Survivor Heroes vs Villains. So let's roll
Well, it
through.
to show to also to exemplify that is Tarqaron fake. Well, I lost like a whole head of hair between between these
And
the
I
two
and I
episodes
gained
here.
weight
You
exponentially if
you
you
gained
look through the
weight
years.
between episodes. Oh well, look through the years. Yeah,
Through
I
the
definitely
years,
have too. I definitely have too. But
there's a little
oh
something.
yeah,
Uh,
maybe just a little. Maybe just a little example.
yeah, not the highest quality pictures, but these are just the two
Yeah,
I found quickly looking
yeah.
it up. So you got look at him all you think clean shaven, but not fully. But
Mm,
he's
yeah.
just a completely different beast when he's been out there.
This is to throw him in the trash, like
Well,
size of Russell.
yeah.
That's his.
Even then,
It's not that
he had the
confessional.
hat on back
Yeah,
then. But yeah, he had the little that belly to him
he had that beer belly. Yeah, he had that.
that just got snatched, absolutely snatched.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, he looks great. He kind of look like his face looks kind of gone. Like he doesn't look great there. He's clearly wasting away in a lot of ways, but he's still muscular. He's always been muscular. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It is very like dad bod in a lot of ways. Like he's got the belly, but he's clearly like a muscular guy.
Uh-huh.
So the losing all that weight definitely shows the tone. He's got all that muscle still. He's using it still, but he definitely needs like a cheeseburger or something pretty soon. Like seeing him there, it's just like you need something. You need
Right.
something a little bit more than what you're
But this
getting.
is really the best
But
example. Like one of those things you can do if you're someone's like
yeah,
Survivor's fake. Like just show them this, and this
just
isn't even
yeah,
like
just
this isn't even full straight 78 days because he did have that 2 week break between seasons. I'm
yeah.
sure he fed up in that time. So
But
he might have
you
been
still
even
can't
thinner.
gain. He didn't gain that much weight back though. He was still pretty trim when he showed up at when he showed up for the beginning of Heroes versus Villains. So like definitely trimmer than he
Yeah,
was in the first picture, like clearly.
for sure.
So
And so yeah, it's just crazy. You know, that's the Russell experience. Two full seasons back to back. That's the Survivor diet right there.
yeah, right there,
Mm.
exemplary.
But yep, that's it.
Wow.
Just wanted to make sure that was added in there.
Yeah,
And
it is. It is still just like seeing them side by side like that is just crazy.
all right. In the meantime, I'm gonna recommend a random Tarqaron video for you to watch next.
Yeah, random rules.
If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go watch our video called "Taking Random BuzzFeed Quizzes" featuring Rusty. It's
It's a good one.
from I think 2021, somewhere around there.
Yeah, yeah.
Old video there. Check it
You
out.
need a chance. You need a chance to decompress after like we are going to be with the season. And there's a way to decompress after the 3 hour video or however long this is.
Yeah, it's a long one. It's gonna be hell to edit. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But thank you for watching. Subscribe to the
Thank
channel.
you.
More Survivor. Pretty much every week we got new Survivor content. Whether
That's
it's
right.
these reviews, these bonus videos, but then episode by episode reactions, and we also have a ton of variety of content: movie reviews, game reviews, little fun variety series, all mixed in there. You never know what
That's
you're
right.
gonna get, but you do know you get steady Survivor. And we got a playlist on the channel, all our Survivor content. Go to zacharcher.net/survivor and you can go through any of the seasons you like and pick one out. All right. We appreciate you and thank you for sticking it out if you did. This was
Yeah.
a big one. Yeah, it's
Meaty.
been over 3 hours recording at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah.
So,
It's 1 o'clock
geez.
in the morning. I've been getting up at like 4:30, including this past morning. So that's thankfully I get to sleep in at least another hour tomorrow. So
Mm,
that's good because I'm gonna be unconscious probably in 10 minutes after
that's right.
we end it. So
That's right. Take care,
yeah,
everybody. All right.
yeah. Have a good one.